Oh, flattery will get you everywhere. Oh, flattery will get you everywhere.
Hello, lovelies. How's everybody doing? It's been a little while. Almost 3 weeks, in fact. Hello to everybody in chat. Hello, Alan Key. I think you're new to chat. Hello to you. And I think I said hi to the rest of you, but just in case. Hi, Ruffle. Hi, Myra and Bannon. Thank you for the resubscriptions. You're lovely, as always. Hi, Jake.
Oh, flattery
Hey,
will get
Madoon.
you everywhere.
Thank you also for the resubscription. Hi, Vulcan. Oh my goodness, have I missed anybody? Am I good? Am I good? Thanks, Ruffle. Do you know what? It's only like I've only had 2 weeks off, but I suppose because I had 2 weeks off, Calvert streams and my stream, and I got my laptop back in my hands about 2 hours ago. So it's been a bit of a mad dash, really. Right, tell you what, let's get you off the loading screen for a start. I know what I'm doing. I remember all of this, sort of, maybe. What was I doing? Eating. I was eating. So I've still.
Oh, flattery will get you everywhere.
Thank you for the resub, Ruffle. I've still got my Tech Goblins notice up because I am yet to be convinced, because I sent it off with 3 faults and they have sent it back with a note about one of them. And it wasn't the one that was making it blue screen, but they say it's all working fine, so I guess we will find out if and when it blue screens. So I've left that one up just in case, but hopefully, even if it does go down, that the stream will only be down for a minute and I will be right back in. But we're hoping that they actually fixed more than they bothered to mention, and we'll see. So today we are on Exodus, Southern Freedom Isles in Worm Online. I'm currently at Thulspring, but I'm going to be heading across to my deed, which is just over here, Nefarious deed, which we were at last time, which I'm still on the fence about whether or not this is my pop-up event deed, but I have now built 2 buildings on it, so that's kind of like committing, right? Kind of, sort of. For anybody who missed my hot tub before, by the way, look at it, it's beautiful. I haven't sorted out my Easter eggs for the most part, but what I did do, I did go and exchange 400 of them for a couple more shiny draconic eggs, and I did like a beautiful little colour array for them. I might yet exchange some more because I've still got a few thousand Easter eggs back on release, but the Exodus ones at least are now a more modest quantity than they were before. And because I'm me, I absolutely went through and placed them all on the ground and kept my favourites and sacked the rest. Because, Anyway, so I have eaten, I have drunk, and I'm going to go and kit up, hop onto my horse, and we're going to head over to Nefarious Deed, which is literally just over the road from Thulspring. For anybody who wasn't here on the last stream that we were here. Not sacked, Myra, but as in sacrificed them to the Great Bunny in the Sky. I exchanged them for draconic and serpentine eggs for a few extras. I don't know if I'm going to do more or not, but I do have a preposterous amount of Easter eggs, and I do not need them all. So we'll see. But at least I kind of cleared down some of the Exodus ones. So anyway, Calvert's had 3 weeks off streaming. I've had 2 weeks off streaming. Fingers crossed there's not going to be any more issues and I'm back streaming on the regular. But, oh, that sounds like thunder. And we're in storm clouds. But, we'll see. Time will tell. So, for anybody who did miss the last one, this deed, which stretches across, like most of this, and all the way back to the canal here. This is Nefarious deed. I made an entranceway, building a building into a pylon a few weeks ago, and we've rerouted this road. That there was a 1 tile width road that actually was offset a little bit somewhere over here. Dug all of that up. Actually put a nice big new road that goes straight from Thulspring and carries on the paving scheme through here. and all the way down across to the canal, where we also built a shiny new bridge. On the last stream, I was doing some bridge demolition. It is a good convenient road, isn't it? You can just get out of Thule and then AFK ride all the way across to your side of the canal, because Ruffle also has a deed here. So last stream, we were doing some bridge demolition. In fact, the catapult is still there from last time. That was a failed attempt to use a catapult on a bridge demolition. In the end, the lovely Jake Rivers, who is in chat, actually ended up bashing a load of it down for me. But I have done a little bit of sculpting since then. I don't know if it's necessarily finished, and some of this road sculpting might upset some of you. It sort of upsets me, but it doesn't, because I did a thing I have never done before, and I made my road surfaces uneven on purpose, including several of these, but they are shaped so that you get slightly more natural kind of undulating curves along here. For anybody who has been at all familiar with this area before, what we had before here was a really quite abrupt little dip here, a more gentle dip over there, and the original bridge ran where this sandstone path now is across there, to that little bit there. So we took that bridge down, put this bridge up, and if I show you from the other side, you'll see what I mean, because what we had was, look at that, it's on a slope. but it looks smoother if you can get past the twitching around the roads not being perfectly flat. It actually looks better, I think, than if I had them all flat and at right angles, because actually what you get is this nice like sweeping route down that then like these nice undulating hill-like curves. Now I haven't got as far as this side yet, as you can see. Let's not drop down there. But what I did do was I shaped the road under this new bridge that we built so that it just slopes nicely down there, because all of this would be part of the deed as well. Is part of the deed as well. But if we keep the deed here, the intention was for this to be... Did I watch the video about making rolling slopes? No? Wait, what video about making rolling slopes? Have I missed something? You're in the need of decorating tips while you're on the road to 70 meditation. Well, we should have some for you. Hello, Calvert. Look on the forums. What? Who? Has somebody put something about rolling slopes on the forums? See, I've never seen anybody do this before, and so I have never done it before. And when I was looking at this Indeed planner, I was like, you know what? Kind of doing it straight just makes it really angular. I will have to go watch it and see what they're all on about. But you know what? The bits of it that make me twitch, actually, I think I can get past, because although this bit here is still a little sharper than I would like. I'd like to be able to round this off, but I've got some issues with, because this is a highway, making sure all of these slopes remain navigable. But I like the curve so much better from a distance, even though you come shooting off down here and it's like you might slide a little bit because the road is still sloped towards the water. Tell you what though, I didn't notice until after last stream, this cage, which was buried in I guess in the support of the bridge that was here before, appeared, and I was momentarily baffled until we realised that it must have been like long ago abandoned, maybe from a decayed ship or something, or maybe somebody unloaded it in a bad place, we don't know. But that was evidently buried in the bridge that was here previously and has now reappeared, so if any of you are Exodus residents and that was yours at some point, come get it. It's magically reappeared. But yeah, so this deed and the stuff that we were talking about last time was about making a kind of a pop-up event deed, because while I absolutely do not have the stamina and have absolute amounts of admiration for those who do to run things like an imp-along, we quite like doing little sort of pop-up fun things and science on stream, and once or twice we've invited other people to come and do stuff with us live on stream, like the Puzzle Labyrinth run, and Calvert and I got talking about whether or not we could run sort of, I don't know, competitions and races and obstacle courses and fun stuff on stream for points and prizes and just generally for shits and giggles. So that's sort of what this deed theoretically is aspiring to be. I'm just still building up momentum and inspiration for quite how to populate this really quite flat landscape, because I love this bit of land. But it turns out that I don't plan well around very flat land. I need to work around terrain generally. But I am committing to it one building at a time in the hopes of persuading myself. So what we have here is a rather large treehouse. And scream. Wait. And screams. What? And screams. What? No. Oh, rolling slopes. There we go. 4 days ago. Well, I did mine first. But I did not stream about it. But I will go and watch that later, because I am kind of a fan. I'd like to see how somebody else is doing it as well. So yes. Now will Crim work it out? Wait. Will Crim work what? Will Crim work what out? What did I miss?
Oh, you shush your face.
I see shits and giggles and screams from Calvert. Like, I think that's one of my favourite clips so far, like the one that I got of him where he like fell off his cart on stream, and that pitch I don't think I've ever heard out of him ever before, but I was rewatching it literally last night, crying with laughter. So thank you for that, Calvert. Yeah, so I've built this treehouse. And I first tried this sort of a concept, although not wrapped around a tree, on Guidance. Some of you might remember my little, much littler house with like a 5-tile footprint on Guidance when we were doing the Guidance streams when our new tutorial server first launched. So I tested out the kind of house on stilts idea then. And then I've been talking for a little while about, like, can I wrap a whole house around a tree and make it kind of work? I wanted a Treehouse Micropub. So that is what I've attempted to build. So again, we've got a house up on stilts. This one has an oak at its largest size going all the way up the middle, which of course is going to interfere with the visibility on some of those upper floors. But you know what? I do kind of like it, actually. So this is what we're decorating today. And I have pre-built a bunch of stuff, and I've got a whole load of unfinished items sat. I've got decorative items in there, and over in the wagon over here I've got a bunch of unfinished items based on the kinds of things I think I might want to put in here. One of the other things that we're going to look at today, which I'm sure any of you that have tried decorating before will be very familiar with, is how all the different wood types come out in different colours on different items, and how fucking frustrating that is when you are trying to do a really nice kind of tonally consistent decorative scheme. So I'm going to show you some stuff there, and it's frustrated me so much actually with this that I might actually finally bite the bullet sometime soon and make one of every wooden furniture item in every wood type and line them up and bloody photograph them and stick them on the forums somewhere, because I'm so sick of gambling and then being like, nope, can't do walnut, nope, can't do oleander, nope, god, fir looks awful in that one. So maybe I should just do it for myself and everybody else's sake. But yeah, so Treehouse Micropub. So this middle section is open. I'm still in two minds about whether or not to put fencing around this bit. I like the visibility, like looking straight through. I think that's part of what makes it treehousey. But I'm conscious that if I don't box any of this in, we're going to get a lot of wildlife wandering under the treehouse. And because logic, as we know, that means that they can swipe at people on upper floors. And in fact, yesterday I had a scorpion teleport up onto this floor to attack me, and then its corpse dropped back down when I killed it. So, but I also kind of, I don't want to break the view down there. But so this has got these nice big open sides on the first floor, which I really quite like, and I'm actually kind of tempted to stick like a bow rack up here, and then maybe on some other buildings that I build around here, I want to put archery targets on them. I have not made it a death trap. I'm going to put some fences up on the upper levels, but first floor is not a death trap. It's a scraped knee at most. Yeah, nice big open sides. Does anybody know, by the way, are any of you archers? Because I am not, and I have never tried this. Can you shoot at archery targets that are on buildings? Or are they weird and tell you that, like, I don't know, the building's in the way or the floor's in the way or something? Does anyone know? If not, I'm going to do some experimenting, because I quite like the idea actually of having these open sides and just like a bow rack here, and then having across the other buildings that pop up on this deed like archery targets on different levels, without fences in front of them, obviously, with like a clear line of sight as a kind of different sort of a shooting range. But I don't know if it works at all. Jake, never tried. You shot people through windows. So you're saying that I could have like difficult archery targets that are like just visible through windows. I'm sure it doesn't actually make that much difference to difficulty. You don't have anything like cover in archery terms in Worm, do you? But how cool would that be, right? Like, because I was thinking about an archery range somewhere on this deed, and I do want to do that, but how much cooler would it be if your archery range was like targets at various distances and at various elevations, just like dotted around on buildings and in the grounds? I think that would be cool. Anyway, so we've got this first floor, which is open on three sides. So we've got the side looking out onto the desert. That's Calvert's Arena over there, and Thor Spring just there. So we've got some nice kind of long sight lines there, but of course nice thickly wooded trees just to make it a little bit more difficult. And we've got our third open side here, which looks out onto the main path through Nefarious. And then if you go up from here, we've then currently got some open sides on the upper floor, but these are ones that I might actually stick rope fences on so that I can put seating and just treat them like big picture windows rather than death traps for Calvert. Fun though that is. And if you keep on going round, all of the inside things, all of the inside walls on this, by the way, I set at balconies, which neatly touch one another. If you've never done this before with a donut house and put balconies on the inside, they all neatly kind of like match up corner to corner, which I think is dead cute. But also it means that it feels quite treehousey for me because you watch the tree all the way up, like it is very much a feature of the building rather than interrupting it. But of course that does mean that once you get up to the upper floor, like you really are, like this is not really going to be a usable space or like a social space. But we've got a fancy little tower up on top that you can get out of the lower level and the upper level. Get a nice view around here of, well, the oak tree up very, very close. And if you've also never tried doing fun stuff like this before, from here I can just whoop, jump down onto my oak tree, and very soon it's going to portal me into the middle of my oak tree, which should not be possible. See, now, Ruffle and I were testing this the other day, and I couldn't make it let me stand like this for more than a second or two, and there we go. I am now, in fact, in the oak tree, right in the centre of the house, but it's not glitchy, you don't get stuck, you don't get trapped. It's just a fun new, hey, I stood on a tree and worm thing. And once I pop out of it, as you'll see, then, like, I can't, whoa, looks like I have to get fully out of the tree, and then you can't get back into it. You can sort of see into it, but can't get back into that space because trees have collision, except when you're inside them. So that's the treehouse. That's what we're decorating today. It is good fun, isn't it, Ruffle? Ruffle and I, like, I don't know, the night before last, or something, I was like, do you want to come and play my elevator? Because for anybody who hasn't seen it, Calvert and I accidentally built an elevator, which is super duper fun, in one of his buildings. So Ruffle and I went and played in the elevator, just going round and round, being like, wee! And playing in the treehouse and showing the treehouse trick. But anybody can come and do that. I mean, this is all open to anybody. And most of this deed is going to be open to anybody. That's kind of the point, for it to be a sort of a place that we can run little pop-up community events and stuff like that. So if you want to come play in the treehouse, come play. That is my plan. Hello, memers. How are you doing? So I better move this back in and under so that I can access everything. There are no, I can't haul anything up because I don't have any ladders here, and you can't haul upstairs. But I can access pretty much all of this from at least one side of the treehouse up there, so I think it will be fine. So I've got a bunch of trellises. And in fact, I don't necessarily need all of those right now, but I'm going to need a couple. Hops, obviously, because if it's a micropub, has to be hop trellises. Hello, Moomin. How are you doing? Lovely to see you both again. Sorry if my voice goes a little bit dodgy. You can tell that I'm not used to talking for several hours on stream anymore. Like those 2 weeks off, and I'm slacking. So I've got some trellises here. I've got some empty shelves and things. I've got a whole bunch of deco tat, like barrels, handful of potions, some planters, flower pots, things like that. A couple of meditation rugs. I haven't got as much deco tat as I would put in here when it's finished, but I assembled some, and it'll do us for now. And then in this one, I've got some other things that I already built when I was trying out different wood types, which I will show you guys so you can share my frustration. And I've got a load of unfinished stuff, which I was busy squirreling away at making. I've locked it, haven't I? Yesterday and today, of the kind of things I'm going to be putting in here, which don't include bar tables, even though it is the one item specifically made for bars. It's not going to fit in here. The reason may be pretty obvious to some, but maybe not to others. The reason being that because there is only one tile width running all the way around this tree. The first one I planned actually had 2 tiles width on the front, but I didn't like it. It was too big and clunky. But because there's only 1 tile width all around, one of the challenges is going to be actually making a social space and a functional sort of a bar/pub without using big furniture which dominates the space and makes it look weird. So I'm going to build like a little bar in front of some of these, with storage tucked into the jetties and the balconies. For anybody who has never tucked furniture into jetties and balconies, got some tips for you, because I love doing it. I do it all of the time. So we're going to build like a little narrow bar here. We're going to have some seating around the side. Like I said, I quite like the idea of having I don't know, maybe a bow rack tucked in there, and then setting up some archery targets across here. I don't actually have a bow on me to test it today. I could mail myself one from home. Do I have arrows? Well, we'll get to that. That's a problem for another me. So yeah, we're going to have some seating area. We're going to have a little bar. In practical bar terms, absolutely the best thing that you can have for alcohol in a small space is alchemist's cupboards. We're going to have just one of them in here. The reason being that it allows you to store a whole load of liquid, and most of it is self-sealing, so you're not like using pegs and sealing kits all the time, opening and closing stuff, where you have drinks which decay, which not all alcohol does, but some do. So there's going to be an alchemist cupboard in the mix. You know, some checkerboards on tables, that kind of stuff. And maybe some slightly fancier seating upstairs. The top floor, I think we are not going to furnish at all, because, as we saw, the top floor is mostly tree. But maybe we'll have sort of like a slightly fancier bit upstairs, and something a little bit more kind of just pub-like down here. But in terms of wood types I was looking at, I quite like when I'm working with timber, particularly when I'm going for I want to say rustic, but I'm going to be honest, in order to actually be able to fit stuff in here, a lot of the furniture that I am picking is going to be fine furniture, because it is just smaller. So it's not going to be quite as rustic as I would like. But in order to try and have a sort of rustic feel for timber buildings, I often try and match some of the furniture, at least, to the timber colour, so that it looks more like part of the building and less like a feature in and of itself. Still aggrieved that can't do anything about the wood type on stairs, but that's a whole other rant for you. Yeah, you know what? Calvert could be my archery target. I could just get him running around the rooftops while I shoot at him. That could work. Anyway, distracting myself. Yes, so part of it is trying to match quite closely to the wood type of these beams. And then for the other bits where I've been experimenting with which woods give me what effects, I suppose then what I'm trying to do is go for something which sort of tonally matches. And by that I mean some of the darker wood types come out quite reddish, whereas this is a sort of a yellowish, and in places almost like a kind of muted, sort of like a grey-brown. So I was trying to find woods that didn't look like a completely different tonal group to this one, which means I was trying to focus on the kind of yellow-grey palette woods, and to my great frustration and to nobody's surprise, every single piece of furniture I tried, pretty much, I had an array of different effects. In fact, I'll show you some of them now so you can share my frustration because, you know, Schadenfreude and all. So what have we got? I've been mostly working with oleander, oak and willow. I have tried a little bit of walnut, although I know that walnut often comes out really quite dark. I don't know why I tried it because I never liked firwood, but I was like, oh, maybe firwood would work for this. Firwood always comes out pinkish. Hate it. So you're not going to find me recommending firwood anytime soon. I might even be petty enough to leave it off my building things and all the wood types list. Although I'm probably not actually that petty for the sake of thoroughness. So we'll have 3 of those, and then let's have a look. 4 of these. Right. I'm going to crawl my way back upstairs, and you can share some of my frustration. Have fun murdering your friends, my dude. So let's just make that a little bit smaller. I also don't have any lighting up here at the moment, but I have got a load of lighting down in the wagon. So when I'm done showing you wood types, maybe that's something I should do first. I've got some big iron braziers, and I've got some iron torch lamps, which I thought I would maybe tuck into the corners and into the struts downstairs. So, for example, in terms of bookcases, one thing that I did already know is that the closest tonal match to this wood type for me is, weirdly enough, willow. I'll show you what I mean. So let's have a look, see. I'm going to show you the back of it because actually back will work a little bit better. So as you can see, it's not quite the same, but in terms of like tonal match, it's actually quite good. What else did I try? So oleander. I tried oleander. Wait, I'm into shelves. Let's stick with bookshelves. Oleander is a bit darker, but oleander is generally also quite a grey-black, a grey-brown rather than a very, very warm brown, but it is a little bit warm in this one, closer to oak in some things. So we tried oak as well, which comes out kind of golden, which... and then finally, for everybody's amusement, I fucking hate firwood. You know, I like fir trees, unlike bun, but firwood, I don't know. It's just like a non-wood. I don't even know why I dislike it. It's got a slightly pinkish hue, I think, which frustrates me when I'm trying to go for natural woods. But as you can see, so we've got a bunch of like darkish woods here. I haven't got a walnut, one of those to compare, but walnut would be a little bit darker, I think, than somewhere closer to oleander, basically. You like the second one, do you, Alan? So the oleander, let's put that one a little bit closer. Oleander and an oak is eventually what I settled on, even though back in the manor we've done willow for the tonal match, because although it's a little bit lighter, it's got those kind of those yellowish tones running through it, which is why I think it is a better match. Whereas if you look at the oleander wood directly up against it, it's quite a bit darker. So if you push those into the wall, oleander is not a bad tonal match, but it is significantly darker, whereas the willow is the closest one in terms of toning in, I think. Yeah. But oleander doesn't look bad with it. And I am going to be using quite a lot of oleander in here, because I think it works quite nicely. But what I'm also going to have to do in here, as you will see, is mix and match lots of different wood types where I'm nesting furniture together so that they don't look out of place with one another, because using one wood type throughout would get me something with a lot of wild mismatches, which I will also now show you. So that's an oleander bookshelf. This is an oleander empty shelf. Totally different. Oh, my frustration. It's not even like it's just a darker shade. It is tonally entirely different. Why? So that's an oleander shelf. I don't think I did a willow shelf because willow shelves, I think, come out particularly pale. Willow comes out even paler. But let's do... So we've got an oak wood one here. Let's have a look at oak next to oak in terms of shelves. In my experience, generally speaking, the empty shelves, the planter racks, the amphora racks, and the bigger bits like the LSU and the BSUs, those all tend to take on the same kind of tone. So if you've made like if you've made one of these and you like the wood type in that colour, those other ones are probably safe to go with it. But it's when you start switching between like the household furniture, it's not even consistent where all the fine furniture is one colour and all of the rustic furniture is another either. It's not predictable in that way. But there you go. So there, you'll see that oak is actually a better match for the willow, and that again is what we've used in the manor. So where I want these two to work together, I need to match oak with empty shelves with willow, because if I put oak with oak, again, this one is kind of like a golden brown, and this one is a yellow brown. No consistency at all. And I haven't got walnut here, but I'll show you what walnut looked like in this, because I knew it was going to be paler shades. I did try walnut too, but walnut came out really quite reddish. In this one, almost pinkish. And I really like walnut in some things, but in this one it was just a little bit too chocolatey. Yeah, it has got some kind of almost purplish tones, slightly pinkish sheen to it. So that's no good for that. Now let's look at cupboards. So we've got an oleander cupboard. This is the oleander, that's the oleander. I use cupboards a lot for countertops, so that's why we're looking at cupboards. So again, different colour and also different tonal colour. This is a very neutral brown, that is a very grey brown, that is a very warm brown. So fucking frustrating. But I really like this brown, so I think I probably am going to use oleander for the cupboards. But I was tempted by willow until I saw what willow looked like in cupboard form, so let's share that one with you. So that's the willow bookshelf, isn't it? Yeah, that's a willow cupboard. Totally different again. This one is the yellowiest of like sickly yellow wood colours. Doesn't even tone with that one. But it does tone quite well with the oak wood empty shelf if anybody's looking for matchy matches. Yeah, willow. Some I tend to think that some have more variation than others, but I'm not sure that's true. I think I'm just more familiar with some than others. Cedarwood has a ridiculous amount of variation, and in fact, if anybody's interested and builds a lot in cedarwood, which a lot of people do because of the reduced decay, one of the buildings on Little Venice, which is my market deed over on Release, it's at around J23. It's a little island just here. One of the buildings there is a furniture shop, and it's got 3 stories, and all 3 stories are set up like showrooms, and the middle floor is a bedroom suite, which is built entirely in cedarwood with lots and lots of different pieces of furniture, so you can go up there and just tear your hair out and cry at how different cedarwood looks in like so many different pieces of furniture. Like there are some that work together, like the canopy beds work quite well with the bookshelves and the wardrobes, but the racks are all different colours, and then like you've got the bookshelves and the cupboards and it just, there's no cedarwood in here. But yes, so willow doesn't match the bookshelf, does kind of match the oak wood. Tried walnut in a cupboard as well, so walnut, which on this one was kind of like a pinkish purplish, put it in a cupboard, and then suddenly it's reddish instead. So walnut matches with the oleander wood bookshelves. Do you see what I mean? This is like so frustrating. Like if I just move that one over a little bit, if I wanted to match to the oleander wood bookshelves, there would be an argument for actually using this with it instead. Because if you want to tuck them in them, which I am going to do for my little bar to have a kind of like staggered bar area, those two are a pretty good match for one another. But they are not a good match for this. And finally, oak wood. I don't think we've got an oak wood cupboard down yet, do we? So this is the oak wood over here. That's oak, and then this is an oak cupboard. Just, you know, final nail in the coffin. Again, matches neither of those. Another different colour entirely. So given that we've got, like, if I take the fir wood out of the equation, we've got like 4 different wood types here in 3 different items of furniture, and basically every single wood type in every single bit of furniture is different. That would be nice, Vulcan, yeah. Wood types with the building updates. You know, and now that we've had them for ceilings, I am kind of hoping that we do get those at least for stuff like, even if we don't get them on like the timber, it would be really nice now to also be able to pick the floor wood type. And stairs. Stairs are a real frustration because, you know, if you have wood stairs, they are always this wood color. You can't really do shit about that. And if you have stone ones, as in like the, oh my god, what are they called? The ones that go in a spiral, the round and round. Ah, what are they called? Somebody tell me what they're called. Clockwise. There we go. So these like clockwise spiral staircases. Those currently go round a central stone pillar, which is always grey stone. I would really like to be able to change the stone type of that pillar. It would be super nice to be able to change the wood type of all of these stairs. And what would also be really, really lovely is if we had any stairs at all that were entirely stone. But, you know, right now I am just waiting for my jetties. But they did say that they were going to do us some new kind of wall type variations, so I hung about waiting for a few months to see if any more was going to be mentioned. It was not, so I'm back to building. And I can always retrofit or just build more stuff if and when we get them. But yes, so that's that. There you go. That's a little adventure in frustration for you on all the different bloody wood types. So I think what I settled on. Let me check my notes. I ummed and ahed, like, and there were two or three different combinations that I was flitting back and forth between, and I'm still not quite there. So I think I settled on, I like the oak for the shelves and racks because a lot of those are going to get tucked into things like the jetties and the balconies, and I think those really are a very close tonal match for this. So I like those as kind of built-in furniture. They look most like an extension of this building. The willow, I think, is closest to this, but because I also needed something in empty bookcases that would work with cupboards, I think in the end I decided not to have the willow because I wanted something which was a closer tonal match for one of these. So I think what it ended up with was oleander, having oleander bookshelves, and I didn't want to go walnut because I think the walnut cupboards, although they are a close match, are just a little bit too warm for this building. Let's have a look. Was I doing oleander and oleander? Trouble is, they're not really a very good tonal match. I might have ended up on oak wood. Who knows? Hello, Wendell. Good to see you. Also, I'm aware that I have been waffling. I'm just going to very, very quickly just make sure I haven't missed anybody else in chat. Moomin, could this be the case made by different devs with different references? I mean, maybe, but you would think that they would, the main reference that they would need to use would be the existing stuff in the game, right? I don't know what this harkens back to. I think that some of it is probably down to textures, because I imagine that the way the color works on these is a little bit similar to the way that dye works. So where things have like an underlying texture, they're then applying a sort of a semi-translucent color over the top. And that means that the texture often dictates some of the differences. It's really noticeable in things like crates, for example, but that doesn't explain all of it. We have absolutely got like red tones in this, and sort of like grey tones in this and much richer tones in this. So I don't know. I don't know if at some point someone was like, well, the fine furniture should be, you know, a finer colour and things like the shelves should be a more rustic colour, but they weren't even consistent with those. So if you then go and look at like the rustic tables, like the big wooden tables and the round wooden tables and things, those don't really tonally match to the racks and things. The fine furniture doesn't all match itself. And then you've got things like weapon racks, bow racks, all of that kind of stuff, which don't match each other. It's not like even the racks are consistent with one another, but do they fit in the fine furniture? Do they fit? Who knows? But yeah, I don't really know why it's come about, but it is frustrating. And some furniture you can dye, some you can't. I don't really know why certain ones are dyeable and other ones aren't. So some of them you can kind of fix to make them a tonal match, but a lot of them you just can't touch. Yeah, we haven't heard anything much from the new community manager, but as Vulcan says, I guess they are still getting settled into post. There's probably quite a lot for them to catch up on, and they've got to communicate with the devs as well. I hope that one of the things that they will do in time is when things are a little bit quiet on the news front in terms of what's coming from the devs or from the from the game owners, that part of what a CM should be doing, I think, is creating content in the interim and using that space to fill it with things like community events or talking to players, doing, I don't know, tours of stuff or doing streams. I know Retro used to stream. I don't know that that's necessarily a requirement of a community manager, because that takes both a lot of time and not everybody would be comfortable doing that, but just some kind of community interaction. And I think really what we want is just some kind of consistent news output. So even if we're not hearing anything from the devs, at least we are hearing something. Because the trouble is, when there's nothing at all, you don't know if it's because there's nothing to tell, or if it's because somebody's just kind of dropped the ball, or if it's because there's other shit going on in the background. And I think a lot of the sort of the anxiety and frustration would be appeased by at least regular communication, even if that communication is sometimes don't have an update for you from the devs, can't give you an update on that, but we are still on track for, I don't know, goblin camps or whatever, and still working on the wall types, just confirming that stuff is still happening, but also in the meantime, here's some other stuff that we've got for you. That would be super. That's what I would really like from a community manager. Maybe we will see something like that in time. You think they should make stone staircases, not the spiral kind? Yes, I agree. I would really like to have like flagstone steps going up the front of buildings, for example. I would really like us to have staircases which are just completely stone, and also to have spiral staircases where you can at least control the central pillar stone type, because you have sandstone and marble and slate buildings with just stone pillars up the middle if you use those spiral ones. Hello, Rock Lobster. Sorry, I didn't see you come in. No worries. I mean, like, I know this is a thing that is going to be divisive. It's always been divisive for a little while. You know, as Vulcan says, she has put out announcements about the official things. She ran a screenshots competition. I'm in no way saying that I don't think that she's sort of don't think that she's doing a job. I'm sure she's got quite a lot of stuff going on in the background that we don't see, and also just new in post. There is a lot to take on, but we haven't had a development update from the devs in a good long time. It would be really nice now to see a community manager stepping in and acknowledging that and trying to do something with it. And just trying to make sure that we now get a more consistent schedule again for something like Valray International, rather than just when we have an event, having one for that event, or when there is finally a dev blog update, having something around that. Communication consistency goes a long way, I think, in just sort of keeping people feeling like they are being informed and not being abandoned. You would like to be able to put up single plank shelves on the... Oh, yeah, Myra. Wouldn't that be nice? What I end up doing is nesting these things, part hiding them in other large pieces of furniture to kind of make myself little shelves. And one of the downsides of timber buildings, because you see, I love timber, it has the best wall types of all of the buildings, but the trouble with building in wood is the walls are much, much thinner. So this is the widest they get, but they get narrower than that when you're actually on the wattle and daub bit. And what I like about stone buildings is those thicker walls hide a multitude of sins. They allow me to push lots of quite chunky furniture partly into the wall to make a more slimline look, to work my way around things like pretend shelves, wall-mounted shelves and things like that. I have less scope to do that with timber, but you can do it a little bit. But yeah, like, now that we can put things on walls, it would be super nice to have something like just actual wall-mounted shelves. Like, albeit with tiny capacity that you can only put little things on. I don't care, that would just be super. And likewise, I kind of hope now that we've got things that we can put on ceilings, like, say, chandeliers, there are more things that it would be really nice if we could put on ceilings. Like, for example, when ceilings came out and we knew we could put chandeliers up, I got super excited because I briefly thought that they might let us put like the Christmas decorations that go on walls also on the ceilings. I was like, I could have a ceiling full of stars. But no, maybe though, maybe in time, you never know. Yeah, I'm totally with you. I would love wall shelves. Yeah, just for like little like books, knickknacks, put your flowers on it, statuette or two, be great. Simple build IKEA shelf. Yeah, I know, right? So we can put, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I like being able to put the carpets on the shelves. I like being able to put the banners directly on the wall so they don't flap in the wind. And I also kind of like being able to rotate them. We did something like that up at the manor, where I've put banners behind the fireplace, and I've rotated them upside down, so you actually get sort of like the arc bit, like the decorative bit, pointing up instead of the banner top. Yeah, we got the hanging star lantern. I haven't actually put any of those up yet. Bottles behind a bar desk. Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that we're going to try and do today, basically, to try and get some of that kind of, you know, lived in clutter look by nesting some stuff together. And I do have jars of this and that in my kitchen. And again, I do that by nesting different things together, and I'll show you how, because I'm going to do some of that here as well. But if any of you have seen my kitchen back at Brambleheim, you'll have seen me do that kind of stuff already. I did a little bit of it on the granary build as well back at Thorspring a few months ago. But yes, right, now I've had my rant about wood types. I'm going to go about this in a sensible fashion. First of all, I'm just going to put some lighting up so as the sun goes down, we can still see what the hell we're doing. I can still see what I'm doing. And I also, I don't know if I'm going to do it right this second, but my plan is to floorboard, as in pave, rather than put floors down this bit and all the way there down to the road, which will involve just a little bit of terraforming to make this into a nice slope as well. Did I take all of these out of the wagon? I think I maybe did. And, ooh, maybe I did not. I feel like they are, wait, hang on. Empty shelves are deceptively large. If I take one of those back out, can I then fit everything else in? Wait, ooh. Yes, everything bar one empty shelf. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my headphones off for a second. I'm going to tie my hair up because I'm getting unreasonably warm, probably with all my waffling. So then we're going to put lights up, and then I'm going to start with the most important bit of a micropub, like the bar area, like this first floor is going to be the main bit of it, and we'll work our way out from there. One day you'll get around to decorating your place, Hulk. The trouble is, all the time you keep expanding and keep building and things. Oh my god, what was the name of... There was a deed that Ruffle and I went to visit quite recently on Independence. It's the Of the Gods ones, like Valley of the Gods and stuff like that. And they've got all of this stuff there, and it's all laid out on the floor. And it's kind of amazing to see it in that way, right? But he was like, well, you know, I'll decorate. I'm working my way up to decorating when I finally, like, you know, got a house. And I'm like, how long have you been in the game, though, to have acquired all this stuff and still not yet got a house that you're ready to decorate? Decorating soothes my soul. In Worm. I'm not really for it outside of Worm. Anyway, right. Gonna take these off. Be right back with you. So much better. So much better. I tell you what, though, I started my streaming journey in December. And as we get to warmer and warmer months, I'm starting to be like, maybe it's just not going to be viable to have these like really big warm headphones right through the summer streams. I don't know, we'll see. I did try getting like an external mic, but apart from it feeling very, very large and ostentatious, and me being a bit like embarrassed by it, like this is a very tiny desk that I'm on. It was gigantic, but also those things are very directional, and I'm somebody who, as you can tell, likes to waggle my head and I move back and forth, and with those you really need to stay a consistent distance from them so that your volume stays consistent, whereas at least when I have a headset on, I can waggle all I like and at least the mic stays more or less the same distance from me. So it was huge, wasn't it? I sent Calvert pictures of the first one and I think the second one, and like even the smaller one was still kind of gigantic. It's right up in your face as well, and I don't like things right up in my face. So I think whatever I do, it's going to have to be one of these kinds of ones, but maybe it doesn't have to be right over my ears. Maybe I could try something else. We'll see. You've got a boom mic, have you, Vulcan? Yeah, that's what these were, basically. They were boom mics, but they were just gigantic. And even if I could have got over the giganticness of them, what I was really struggling with was staying at a consistent distance from them, because it makes me much more static, and I am not a very static person facially. Like when I'm expressing myself, I move my head all over the place, I move my hands all over the place. It's all I can do not to just be bashing this mic all of the time. And this is a very tiny one and just mostly out of bashing range. But I would have really struggled with volume levels, I think, with one on a boom arm. And I thought it would solve a bunch of problems, and actually just made a bunch more. So, lesson learned. What was that, Alan? So you recommend the Bose Quiet Comfort? Is that over ear headphones, or are we talking like a mic, separate mic? Tried to say hello to Vulcan in in local. Hi, Wolfmeyer. Good to see you. But you can't use the mic. Headphones with a built-in mic. Okay. So, what do you mean, Bun, that you can't use the mic? Bose Quiet Comfort. I'll have a look anyway. I do need to look into some like alternative ones, because I think that this is like, I'm just going to be like in a sheen of like warm, dewy, very, very uncomfortable for anybody who knows me. Sensory experience of like anything on my skin makes me kind of, I'm very temperature sensitive. So, of course, what I could just do is throw the doors open and subject you to the occasional noise of my neighbours in the evening. Maybe that would help. Right, so I tied my hair up. I'm going to go and put some lighting around. What time of day is it? Calvert! Have you developed a new thing to hum, Calvert? Why are we now onto Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo? Somebody just start singing the habanera at him, see if we can get him back onto that one. At least it's not zippity doodah. So where have I put my lighting schemes? So we've got a bunch of torch lamps, and we've got some braziers. These at least. There we go. Everybody singing in chat. Don't buy the Yeti mics. Yeah, I saw a lot of people dissuading streamers from using the Yeti mics, and there've been a couple of other ones as well. One of the boom arm mics that I tried was the Shure one, which comes very highly recommended, but I think it's that static mic that is the problem for me more than anything, but also it was just kind of laughably huge. This desk is 1 meter across. I have got 2 monitors side by side, my webcam right there. I've got a light tucked over the top, and like my real estate here is very, very small. So even on a boom arm, like I had it tucked like under one monitor and wrapped around the side, and it was going to like almost anywhere I put it, it was going to be on camera. It was just, it was just kind of a mess. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to look into like my tech options again when I have gotten over the fatigue of the last time I tried looking for stuff. So other thing I don't know, Jake, maybe you do, or anybody else who what's Calvert singing now? Anybody else who does archery, if I have things like low rope fences which don't impede movement, will they impede archery? Does anybody know? If nobody knows, I will test it at some point. But just out of curiosity, if anybody can save me the trouble, that would be nice. So how about we stick some of these on the corners for now? I'm going to regret not opening up my wagon, aren't I? Because I'm going to need some tar. Because I think some of these might be filled, but some are definitely not. Should be fine, you reckon, Jake? Okay, that's good. Because I know that, for example, with things like Logic again for you, but you can't wave to somebody. Like, often waving is obstructed by a fence between you. Even though you can see one another, you can't wave at one another. So Worm is really funny about what things do and don't care about certain kinds of fences, and I think Worm might be consistent on it not caring about, like, if the fences are things like low rope fences that don't obstruct stuff, Worm is probably maybe quite consistent about that. But then again, anybody who has ever, you know, put nice what's it called, like the decorative curbs around their docks and then discovered that they can't disembark on the other side of a curb, for example, like there's frustrations like that. So I never trust it. What was I doing? I was going to go get some tar, and it's actually not even in there anymore because I unloaded. Have I made a critical error here? I have. I've actually covered up my BSB, and now I've got my wagon stuck. Oh no! Oh look, my wagon is in fact upstairs. How about we unhitch those? There we go. Problem solved. If anybody ever does that, by the way, that's what you do. You unhitch your animals and then just move it off. Let's leave that one. What else have we got? That one. Is there another one tucked in there somewhere? Yes, there is. And that one. Let's just make sure this is actually properly off the stairs. And then hitch those back up, hopefully. Why aren't you letting me hitch them? Is it because I'm not in the building? Speaking of logic. Or is it because it's still not actually a valid place to hitch them from? Let's just rotate it and then see. Try not to rotate the horse's arse. Yes, be careful driving your vehicles near to stairs for this very reason. Oh, that's why. It's because I'm not actually leading them. Nana. If anybody already told me that in chat, well done. Oh, we're talking about Emu's specs. Yeah, I mean, Emu's doing much more of a kind of like pro streamer setup with, I suspect, things like boom arm mics and stuff like that. I am not. I mean, partly I'm not that kind of streamer, and I do not have that kind of space. But also, why are you being weird, Worm? How am I too far away? What? Okay, one at a time. One hitched. Two hitched. I feel like maybe Worm thinks these are somewhere other than they are. But let's get outside the building just in case. I could have dropped these braziers ages ago so that I actually walked further. Does it think these are still partway upstairs? Let's find out. Yeah, but so you get sort of, yeah, there you go. It thinks they're halfway up the stairs. So pro tip, it's the same with boats, by the way. So if you've never worked this out, if when, for example, there's server lag when you're sailing away from a public slaying or something, and you get that glitch where suddenly you get kicked out of your boat and your boat is all the way over there, don't be tempted to swim for your boat. As long as you can still see it and click it, what you want to do is click it wherever it is, stay where you are, and try and embark, because where the game thinks it is and where you think it is are not the one and the same, and that's basically what's happened here. So it should let me lead that one from here as well, and it has. Yeah, see, now it's put them back in their place. So hitch, right. So there's my BSB, which is what all of this was in aid of, because I just wanted to be able to reach my BSB from up top. Am I walking up the side of the stairs somehow? How exciting. She says, and then there we go. Totally forgot what I was saying now. Wow. Yes, yeah. So sort of you've got streamers like that who are much more kind of like almost like radio talk show hosts, right, or commentators. Like a lot of it is about a lot of their delivery is very much kind of, particularly people who make, I think, YouTube videos where it's all about content delivery direct to the screen. Whereas because I'm sort of my style of streaming is chatting along with mates while I potter around in my favorite game. I tend to move a lot more and mumble a lot more, waggle my head a lot more. What the fuck am I looking for? Tar, right. And I'm terrible at multitasking, as you can see. So I would definitely be terrible at noticing my volume zip all over the place as I kept moving my head away from a static mic. So let's fill all of those. And we might as well fill all of those while we're here too. And the one up top as well. I don't think I filled. Oh, look, it is getting darker. See, it was a good time to put lights up. Waffle around. Yeah, fun with desync issues as well. Like I've also I don't really trust stuff Bluetooth connected. I'm very wary of anything wireless, particularly like not for just like general usage, but for something like streaming or gaming. Like fucking hate something just disconnecting at a frustrating moment. I have actually come round to it for this streaming setup. Like I've got a wireless keyboard begrudgingly, which I do quite like, and a wireless mouse. Not as good at keeping them charged up as I should be. Did I do that one? Did I do it? No, there we go. Right, everything is now full. But yeah. And like, I know that one of the options instead of this, for example, would be to get like some kind of monitor in the ear thing, and then just focus on like a headset, like for the mic rather than for the headset or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know how reliable that stuff would be. But at some point, I suppose I'm going to have to just try it and see. Only wireless thing you trust is your mouse. This is a Logitech keyboard, and I must have tried 5 different keyboards before I finally settled on this one, because I hate clacky keyboards, I don't like mechanical ones at all, and I must have tried 4 or 5 different quiet keyboards, which were not fucking quiet. They just weren't. And some that were quiet but looked like they were immediately going to start like peeling off the colour, like where they were like painted over the top instead of something consistent. But this one is a good quality keyboard. I like it. I would recommend it to anybody who is also looking for a wireless keyboard that does not take up a hell of a load of space. One of the nice things about this one, which I didn't buy it for but I've really benefited from since I had it, is this one you can switch between different things. So where I've got like my work PC, this laptop, and my backup laptop, which I was using when I couldn't stream, it's just like a 1-button thing to switch between them. I imagine probably a lot of keyboards have something like that if they're wireless keyboards. But that was one of those features that I didn't know that I was looking for, but I'm now very grateful to have. Where are we? So that one could go there. Right, that gets us a little bit of light. But I am just going to put some of those torch lamps down as well. I don't think I need the other 3 braziers for now. Get a keyboard from the hospital. My experience of keyboards from hospitals is they are the clackiest of clacky keyboards. Torch lamps. So I might put them on these struts downstairs, but for now I'm going to focus on the ones that we have upstairs, which means I also probably don't need anything like that many of them. Let's stick some of those back in. I just want to be well lit while I'm doing stuff, because there's nothing quite so frustrating as decorating through the night, and then when the sun comes up in the morning, all of the colour hues changing, and where you thought you got stuff a really nice tonal match, then in the daylight it looks different. So even though it will look a little bit different in because lights have colour cast, lamps have colour cast, it will still at least be better lit. Now, are you going to let me push this into a corner, or are you and I going to fall out? I'm hoping I can hide these, and if I can't, I can certainly... Yeah, we're going to be all right. I've just got to angle it right. You can certainly hide these in like the uprights of things like T-arches, because I do that a lot. But the trick now is going to be getting rid of that final sliver. without pushing it out the other side. And I think that's done it. Even though it is now off-center, frustratingly, but I can fix that later. She says. See if I remember to. I can hear wolves howling. Calvert! He's farting in my local again. He only does it on stream. Noisy keyboard, basic requirement. Don't you oops at me like you didn't just do that absolutely on purpose. You were not testing. Such a fibber. I'm generally not a fan of these torch sconce things. This is the first time I have deliberately chosen to use them on a thing, but actually since I was going for a kind of rustic-ish theme, I was like, actually this might be the one time that these are the right pick. And I can sort of come around to them. I really need to keybind push and pull gently. I use them so much. Don't know why I'm still right-clicking after all these years. She says, and then of course immediately continues to right-click them. Right. Now I don't have any in the upper levels, but actually I don't even know if I'm going to get to the upper levels given how much I'm waffling, so that'll do for now. At least it gives us a little bit of light working through the night. And I'm going to need some on the upper levels, so how about I just go and drop these up here for now. Push bound, but then you right click to fine tune. I know, but I do much more of the fine tune stuff than I do the push. Like the push is really helpful for it, but I'm somebody who wastes an awful lot of time just nudging stuff into the right place. And one of the things which I think is going to be a little bit of a challenge about decorating this is because I only have one tile to work with. One of the things I'm going to be really vulnerable to is when there is so much stuff on one tile that Worm declares this tile too crowded for me to push and pull things. That means that I need to be quite careful about the order in which I put stuff down. Because, for example, if I put, say, an empty shelf into this balcony, which, by the way, fits perfectly. If you ever wanted a list of what furniture slots perfectly into these things, empty shelves, amphora racks, planter racks, wooden benches. Once I push it into there, I'm not going to be able to place things on it. It will tell me I can't reach this space. So to put anything in there that I want to put things on, first I have to put it in front of it, place all the things exactly where I want them, then I have to place it and push it into the balcony. And what I can't then do, if I've got so much stuff on the tile that Worm's saying, you can't, the place is too crowded, I can't pull it out to adjust what I've put on the shelves. So that's one of the finicky things about working in a small space, which is not enjoyable, I have to say. It can be just very frustrating. I encountered that when doing the bathtub back at Thorspring in the Manor, which is where we started the stream, because that one tile has so much stuff on it that I cannot move anything on it. So, what types did I say I was having? I think we said oak wood for the shelves and the racks, because they match really nicely. With the wood type on the timber. So yeah, oak for the shelves. And you know what? I should have written it down and I didn't, and that was foolish of me. Oleander for at least some of the bar stuff. I'm going to take a couple up and we're going to experiment, because it might be that I now change my mind anyway. So, empty shelf. Let's have the one that's just sitting loose down there. I'm going to start with the bar and I'm going to work out from there, I think. So in terms of cupboards, definitely didn't want the willow. Don't think I wanted the walnut, but we'll take it just in case. And in the bookshelves, I'm fairly sure with the bookshelves, I did want oleander, even though willow's a closer match for the walls. I needed something for a closer match for the bit that was below it. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So I figure with this bar area, I'm going to pop some trellises across there to sort of just give a little bit of masking to that side of the T-arch. So this bit, you can just walk straight out onto that little balcony way. Here's when I'm going to set up like my archery station, because that's pointing right down into the deed where I could array a load of archery targets. If I had thought about this in advance, what I would probably have done is actually done like a double arch looking out onto it. And I may yet evolve this idea and actually have my archery range out of another building with a space dedicated for it. But for now, this is the building we've got. So this is what we're getting. Do I know about the placement grid? Yes, I do. But you know what? I so rarely use it. I don't know if it does things like overrides this tile is too crowded. Does it? I should do more experimenting with that because I'm aware of it, but because I just did not use it for years and years, even though I know it's there, I still almost never use it. So the plan for what we're going to do is we're going to have an empty shelf, I think, tucked into here, which will go a little bit further in. And though I haven't decorated it yet, I'm just going to push it in as far as it goes so that I can build around it. So we're going to have that there, and then we're going to start a bar coming out from this point. And I was in two minds. I was playing with this yesterday because originally I was tempted to have like an L-shaped bar that actually wrapped right around the corner. And I was seeing sort of if I could do that, how I could do it. The problem with that is this door, because if I have a bar that comes all the way around here to this balcony, it's very hard not to make it feel very, very claustrophobic coming through this door with a bar right there. And also you then ended up with this really very tiny gap beside the bar here if you didn't just carry it onto the door. So in the end, I was not quite sold on that. I did also try a bar that just kind of went over the corner and overlapped a little bit around this bit. But what I'm going to start with is a bar that just comes out from here. And I might change my mind as we go. But originally my plan was to have a bookshelf height bar with maybe a lower level to sit at until I put some stools down in front of it and realised just how high the low bookshelves are when you sit on a stool. So let's just, I'm going to want to, because I don't want the bar to come all the way out into the room because it's only one tile wide and I want seating here. I'm actually going to have really quite a narrow bar, and I'm going to do it by tucking this quite a way in. Now, I think I don't want the beam showing, but I am going to want a little bit of that corner showing. So I think we're looking something like that, which just about hides the edge of this. But yeah, I think that's right. So that's an oleander one. And then if let's go and get, I did already get another one of those. Wait, did I pick up 2 oleander bookshelves? Yes, I did. Not sure if I meant to. What I was originally talking about doing anyway was a bar that was basically this height. Hang on, that needs to be a little bit further in. That was this height with a lower ledge, but that you could like peep over the top, so you'd have sort of like the bar height bit and then tucked into it. Can't remember what went with this. Was it oakwood? Oakwood's a bit yellow next to that one. Let's try the oleander. That then had sort of like this lower lip, sort of tucked into it, so that you could sit at. Oh God, those are not a tonal match at all. But that's a beautiful match for this. Anyway, deal with that in a second. So yeah, so I was going to have a bar that was sort of like this, sort of like step level, so you can theoretically you can stand behind the bar, you can have your drinks and things on these inner shelves down here, and some decorative stuff back here. You don't have a whole lot of room here, but that's just going to be what it's like for a narrow little bar. And then you have your bar stool set around the outside. But I'm going to go get a stool and I'm going to show you the problem that put me off doing it quite like that. Because when you sit down on a stool, you realise just how high those shelves really are. Where did I put my stools? Are they on the other one? Not that I can see a goddamn thing. Are they on this one? Calvert, make yourself useful. Go and find that wolf and kill it, will you? I didn't even show you the stools earlier. I've got stools in 3 different colours. But when I put them down side by side, I actually kind of liked having them in 3 different colours, and I might make that a bit. But so, once you then pop a stool down, it looks kind of okay till you sit on one. These might be the wrong way round, but we'll see. Where suddenly, like, the cupboard's a good height, but this looks kind of comedic, right? If I'm then sat at my bar and all you get is like my chin poking over the top. You making mats? Calvert's doing some arena renovations because all of the exterior walls and things are starting to crumble. So, and then he decided he wanted 40 brazier pillars because he's mad. So, I mean, it looks quite nice from here. Maybe it's not a problem having it with that up a bit. It just looks a little bit funny from in here. I don't know. Thinking with a wolf, are you? I believe you. But I don't know, I kind of like how this looks. But I think what I arrived on in the end was as a compromise, maybe having the higher sides but having lower fronts. So I don't have matched cupboards here, but just for the sake of argument. Now, is that coming out too far if I put that there? I think the plan was to actually tuck that one in. What am I looking for? Come on, brain, please. So, looking at putting that tucked in, sort of. And she pushes it too far. Tucked in like that, and then another cupboard wrapped around the front, I think. So we could have, like, for example, I don't know, something like that across the front, or as an alternative, not having a lip on this side at all. I should have just picked up cupboards that were the same size, the same wood type. But like, you could have a lower bar front with a higher bit on the side. I could do away with this one entirely on the side and actually just have like a high side, low front, one that just connects to it directly there, and not have the seating on the sides. That's quite nice. But either way, as you can see, we're going to be working with a very, very narrow space. I put it the wrong way. Okay, I don't know if this is one of them, but I'll tell you what else annoys me. I've just realised being in third person is part of what's throwing me off here. Not everything pivots entirely around its centre, and I wish they were perfectly centred on pivot. There you go, that is one that does not. So you rotate it round and you find that its pivot point is not central at all. Thank goodness for a mouse, and I never thought I would say that as somebody who has used a trackpad for most of their gaming life. Having a mouse with a scroll wheel makes placement so much easier. So I'm kind of leaning towards this sort of setup, maybe. And in order to make it match the width, I think what I would have to do is actually pull this further out to kind of the edge of that beam and have like high on the sides, low on the front, so you sit along the front bit. I don't know. It would also allow me to put some furniture and stuff on the side. What do you reckon, guys? You're just tired of the placement sound. There's going to be a lot of that this stream, I'm afraid. Let me go and see what other cupboards I've got, so that I am actually putting stuff down that I intend to stay there once I get it right. So don't have any in there. They must all be in here. Cupboards, cupboards, cupboards. Definitely not using the willow, so let's have the oleander one. And with the bookshelves. I thought I was settling on the oleander wood. I think I am, but the willow is still a possibility. And I've got in here, there we go, I can make a bunch more. One more cupboard. I can make an extra cupboard and some more bookshelves if I need to quite quickly, because those are finished all bar the final part, which will decide the wood type. No need to keep that open because unfortunately I'm working around the other side. I might go and find and kill that wolf in a minute. But yeah, so these I actually quite liked when I lined them all up together, although they also do not match their corresponding wood types for other things. There you go, oak and oak. It's not bad, but it's not that close. Oleander and oleander, quite different. But I quite liked the little different shades of colours, and I might have multiple different shades of stools just as kind of like a feature. So, I steered away from the walnut because even though it matches the oleander quite well, it just seems too red against this yellow. So let's get rid of the walnut entirely. In fact, I'm going to cheat because this is all my deed anyway. Eat. Which leaves me with either oak or oleander. And I need to just make a fucking decision between these so that I can start building stuff. So we're talking like... bearish. Tell you what, while I'm here and testing, let's just try the willow bookshelf because I know it matches the shelves here. It's just whether it looks out of place with the cupboard. It certainly does from the inside, but maybe it doesn't so much from the outside. It's just so much brighter is the problem. And then my 2-tier bar just looks a bit... no, don't like it. Right, willow can go as well. So our choices are between, we're going to go with oleander wood or oak for the cupboard. I feel like the oak is just a bit too orange. And I think of all my choices, I do need to go with the oleander bookshelves, which means whatever I pick, the cupboards have got to work with it. And neither's great. Somebody else. So the offset click, Wolfmeyer, can be useful when placing things into walls. Okay, so talking about the grid. Right, so the grid, for anybody who doesn't know, you access it by holding down Control when you're doing place like this, and that will clip it to various points on the tile, so that, as Wolfmeyer says, it allows you to get some more consistent placement rather than sort of doing it by eye. Now, I often like doing things by eye because I'm often trying to line them up with particular features like the edges of things, because you see that one, that snaps to just outside of that timber beam, whereas what I would like to do if I were lining it up is to line it up perfectly with the timber beam like that, and the placement grid doesn't do that. But for a lot of things, it can be really, really useful for like consistent placement. Also a second key, shift. Shift doesn't do it for me, but that might be because I've got it bound for other things. But for me, it's the Control. If I hold down Control, that lets me do that. Alt, there you go, Alt is the second one. There you go. So yeah, Alt with a different grid size, so that's working on a bigger grid. Is it putting it in a different place entirely? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's interesting. So there's actually two different grids, and I hadn't clocked that they were different points on different grids. So that's good to know. So that's with the Control click, for example, and that's with the Alt click. It's putting them in the same on the corner, but over here, it's putting them in a different place. Yeah, okay. But as you can see, it is not something that I generally use, so I just, even though I know it's there, I just kind of forget that I can. Before I get too excited, putting things down here, I feel like I might just have to suck it up and go with these two together, you know. Just oleander, and then oak for those. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some decorative tat on that shelf that goes behind the bar so that I can push it into place and then hopefully not have to move it again, she says. Am I still carrying 2 trellises around? Or have I put them all back down? No, I'm not. I need to stick a couple of trellises up top as well. So, decorative tat, what can we put on there? Tell you what else I'm going to do, because it's kind of driving me nuts now. You guys maybe can't hear it as loud as I can, because worm sounds are much, much louder to me than they are to you on stream. So I've got it up louder than I can kind of tolerate, so that they are not absolutely invisible on stream. But I think they're quite quiet for you guys when we actually get to, when I go and listen to like the VODs and things on playback, I think they're often quieter than I think they are, the worm sounds there. So it's a balance between making it audible at all for you guys on stream and not absolutely deafening for me. But let's just go find ourselves a wolf. Because that thing is driving me nuts. Where are you, buddy? Now, I do at least have directional sound. I'm not always very good at using it. But all the time that he's wolfing, might be able to narrow it down, you never know. Come on, where are you sod? The other thing I can do, of course, is just ride around till he goes for me. But that does involve lots of stopping and starting and waiting for him to catch up. I don't much like that either. Now, what's over there? I just moused over something. With a health bar. Who loves you? That looks like a ruffle boat to me. God, there it is. I'm so bad at this. Like, immediately. As soon as I mouse over it, and then immediately lose it again. Somewhere. Right, that's a bull. Can't see over the bloody lavender. Something over there. That's a tower guard. Where are you, Wolfie? I'm not hearing him howl anymore, so I think he probably was up top. That's the downside of beautiful, thick woodlands, though, right? Hello, Madoon. Did you manage to kill your friends? Dead hell horse over there, and there's the wolf howling again, just to rub my nose in it. You might be out in the desert. There's a bull. There's a hellhound. It could be a hellhound. Let's go deal with the hellhound and the scorpion, just in case. Hey, buddy. And I'm going to drink while I remember. I'm still hearing him. It's not this one. Somewhere over there, I think. What? Come on. Down you go. You hide the wolf, Calvert. Lead him on a merry dance just along the edge of local. There's a scorpion over here somewhere as well. Let's deal with that, because they sneak up on me while I'm building. Drinking game. No, don't encourage him. He needs no encouragement to do that. More definitely not in my presence and on stream. Thank you very much. I do think, though, that we should make up either bingo cards or drinking games or both for Calvert's streams. Don't you? Or every time you're like, whoops. I am not fooled, sunshine. I really should be butchering as well, but that's between getting butchering skill and leaving little piles of stuff everywhere and, you know, probably propping up the bar with Calvert. Well, Calvert won't be there because there's no booze in the house yet. As soon as there's booze in the house, then we might get him. What's that? It's another scorpion. I mean, that's not howling at me, and that's so far away. That's not going to be disturbing me. This is the the Blood Sands Destroyer, which Jake built for me. And aimed at Calvert's Arena when I was talking about getting people to test out their war machines skill, aiming it out. Oh my god, look at the size of Jackal. Huge. God. She is massive. Seriously, look at that. Oh. Tell you what, I really do like the views from Thorspring and from the villa, but we've seen a few of these lately, actually, like at night time, where you get sort of like the moon just perched on a mountain top. It's been a different moon every time. Last night it was Ceres, the night before it was Valray. Now we get Jackal just perching on top of a mountain. I can hear you, you fucker. Where are you? Where are you? I'm gonna start getting all Gollum on it if I'm not careful. Where is it? Where is it? Dead Spidey over there. That's a tree. Well done, Crim. Come on, where are you, you little sod? Let's just go and quickly kill that wolf, she says, however long ago. He's going to be quiet for a minute, and then I'll be like, maybe he's wandered off. And as soon as I go and start building again, he'll start. And I tell you what, as soon as I do this, I'm going to then find he's only like a tile or two away from me. Something just moved over there, I think. Was it me? I'm going to cheat. I can hear it. Right, I'm going to cheat. So what are we facing? We're facing east. Path of knowledge. Most of the lower level ones are pretty fucking useless, but every so often I get frustrated enough. So there's a hellhound behind me, leaving messes everywhere. I didn't leave a mess, that's my point, memers. I'm burying them and not butchering them so that I don't leave a mess everywhere, and I am sacrificing skill to do it. Bear, cat, goblin, scorp, 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 rat, rat. Wolf. To the left, above ground. Is there another one before I move? More hellhounds. It could be the hellhounds as well. Look at them all. I think hellhounds. I know hellhounds do the animation as if they howl. I'm assuming hellhounds also howl. You approve now, do you, memes? Just track his horse. I know that Calvert doesn't know how to tame things. I'm not worried. Oh, little shit. Right, okay, so there is one wolf, two hellhounds. So the wolf, I think we said, was over to the left, quite a way away. So I was kind of in the right area. And then there's a hellhound over the other side of the canal, I think. Behind me to the right. So there's going to be a hellhound somewhere over there, probably on the other side of the canal. I think there's a hellhound somewhere over Sandhill Way. And the wolf is somewhere to my left, I think, but I'm just going to double check. Distance away to the left. Yep. And the last hellhound was where? And if I get all of them, way in front of me. In front of me? Well, the hellhound certainly isn't on Thorspring because it's got Templars. Have I missed one? Oh, quite some distance away. Maybe that too is over on Sandhill or something. Right, wolf first. Nobody go kiting wolves into my local. I don't know why it's bothering me as much as it is. I think it's because I've got my sound up and therefore I am noticing. Right, where are you, Wolfie? Above ground. Somewhere over to the left. Could be down by the canal side. That's a bull. That's the bull we were mousing over earlier, in fact. That's the scorp. That's a tower guard. Something. There you are, you shit. You sod. It is not Ruffle playing Trixies. Found him. Found an anaconda with him. Come on, buddy. Would you like a good boy, Calvert? Because I could tame, you know, a hellhound for you if you like, and just deliver it to you to help. Did you guys hear that? No wonder they're howling so much, because the hellhounds are bloody doing it too. Right. One wolf down, two hellhounds to go. Go away, Scorpion. Nobody likes you. I don't want your hugs. Right, the hellhound over the canal. Yeah, this is the decoration stream, she says, and then goes hunting noisy things. At least now I'm on to them. Kind of, sort of. I reckon the hellhound is probably just somewhere up over here. Maybe. Probably. And the other one I think is over, we said over kind of Sandhill-ish way. It said it was directly ahead of me. So it might just be sat outside Thal Spring. Giving me the finger. We'll find out. There's a sheep over there, Ruffle. You missed one. Spidey. Come on, hellhound. If I were a hellhound, where would I be lurking? Lava spider over there. Plus side, hellhounds have got quite a big pull range, so maybe he will find me before I find him. Or she. Another sheep there. God, you're missing all the sheep, Ruffle. Look at this. Your deed of sheep, although mind you, you've just founded another deed of sheep somewhere else, so maybe you are otherwise engaged with sheep. Pig. See, I'm too far now, I reckon. Where are you little sod? The downside of using get info is, unlike, you know, reveal creatures, if I had a Vin priest here, reveal creatures would get it done. Get info is so underpowered that not only does it not do a great deal for you, but you can also only use it, like, was it once a day? Once every 18 hours, maybe? Naff. Oh, I see. This one only has Christmas sheep. I see. Swear I just... Lava Fiend. Come on, where are you? I might just have to give up the ghost and put up with it. You just get to watch me make faces every single time a wolf howls in my presence. It's definitely above ground. What did I just mouse over there? Something. Come back. A pig. Not a pig. And we got some trolls, we got some more lava fiends. Hell horse over there. I'm finding everything but. There he is! Right, hellhound number 2. Since I did technically already kill one in the desert. If only you kept your mouth shut, buddy. Speaking of which, Ruffle, Myra mentioned earlier, she was like, you should come and visit New Floofshire Shire once it's done. And I said I was thinking about this yesterday. A bunch of you guys have gone and, like, settled all together around Lycondelli. It would be nice to come there on stream and do a little kind of tour of, like, the coterie neighbourhood that you guys have got going over there. I think we should do that. I could have all 3 of you on stream all at once. Bun, Myra and Ruffle all guesting together, showing you around their fancy new deed. What do you reckon, guys? Deeds. Multiple deeds, where they're all settling. Moomix, I think Moomix is over there as well, although I don't think we've got Moomix in chat. Don't know if anybody else is over that way, but you've got Rapti and Cloudy there as well as neighbours. Delhi's the cool place to be. Oh, look, another hellhound. Weird. That one didn't show up on Get Info. Clearly I'm just outside of my own range now. Or it's moved. Bye. Right. There's still a bloody thing howling! Why? Okay, this must be the one that it was telling me was, like, directly in front of me in the direction of Thal. So, where are you little shit? Where are you? Ooh, we got a source spring. Calvert, are you still making materials or are you mobile? No, I can hear you. You're still making materials. Alright, you snooze, you lose. Bye, source spring. Now it was telling us that there was a hellhound pretty much straight ahead, and given that straight ahead is Thal Spring, There aren't many places that it could be straight ahead unless it's just on this edge of like Sand Hill. I've got a seal there. I can still hear it. Did they stop howling in the daytime? Is it just because the moon's out? Am I just going to go mad? Spending my whole stream hunting phantom wolves, and every time I kill one, I'm in the local of another. I think that might actually be how it goes, you know. Get info certainly wouldn't have picked it up on the other side of Thal, so it must have been either somewhere along here. I'm going to get all the way back to my treehouse and then find that there's a hellhound just sat merrily outside it. That's a scorpion. It's a spider. Going to find that there's one, now that Calvert's built a nice little barrier so I can't just ride across. I bet you there's one like just over there. Betcha, betcha. Yeah, you're laughing because you know it's true. I used to enjoy riding across there, you sod. Now I have to go like the long way round. That's definitely Scorp. Tortoise. Lava. Scorp. Let's just check there isn't one actually in the arena, because it does happen from time to time. There is not. Speaking of which, look at this fancy fucking arena. He's done such a good job. Also, that's my throne. Don't be dissuaded by the labelling. It's mine. I've got a picture that says so and everything. What are you eyeing at? Is it, though? Is it yours, Calvert? I can still hear that goddamn wolf / hellhound. That's a lava. Oh, no, that's a hell scorp. Right. Is it, in fact, just the other side? Yes, it is, you little shit. Found it. Found it. Come on, buddy. Can't see another one, but I will just check around the corner just in case. Then I will get back to decorating, I promise. Calvert! I'm going to stop streaming on Exodus. You just can't be trusted. Did you guys hear that? Not Calvert farting, I mean the wolf. It's just because I've moved. When I go back, it will no longer be in range, I'm sure. And if after all this time, after 13 years, this is the moment that we discover that, in fact, howls are ambient sound, not things created by actually having wolves in your local, which might actually be the case. Yes, there's a ruin here. Is that what you meant, Moomin? This is what was Calvert's off-deed maze, which has been slowly decaying, and then like the last week or so, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of the walls have just dropped. Seriously, does anybody know a wolf's ambient sounds? Because if after all this they are, I'm going to be so pissed. So pissed. Right, hopefully that'll do it. Hopefully that'll do it. I am calm. Oh, you know what? I missed an opportunity. Shh. Where is he? Where is he? No, I wouldn't go hunting the ducks down. I love the ducks. What? Oh, crap. After all that, are you actually over in the arena? You sod. Well, there goes my game plan. I can hear you, you sod. You are. You're building pillars, aren't you? God damn it. Right, we're just going to go and pay a temporary visit because I owe Calvert something. Maybe several somethings. There he is. Meow. Oh, it felt so good. Naked flames. You're doing well with your pillars, though. I can't remember. Did I leave you? I must have left you the rest of the brazier bowls, or I put them in my cart, maybe. Either way, I'm sure you've got them. Bye, Snakey. Right. Now that Calvert's had his just desserts, and every wolf within my local range and hellhound is dead, now we're going to find out whether they might in fact be ambient sounds. I think they're probably not. I hope they're not. And I'll never quite know if it's because they're ambient sounds or if it's because I missed one. But so far, so good. I'm sure they're not. I don't think I've got that wrong all this time. Right, so let's pick these back up again. Oh my god, so slow. And the other thing I was going to pick up was tap to put on. You heard that right? Oh my god! They might be ambient sounds. Or I missed one. Cry! Oh my god, it's still there. It's still there and it's coming from two different directions. Right. I'm not getting distracted again by that. I'm going to try very, very hard not to. Sorry for that little segue, guys. What have we got in the backpack? Let's have a couple of beer steins. Let's have a jar. They're getting fucking closer. Let's have a teapot and some cups as well. Which I haven't actually painted any of these yet, but whatever. Any more for any more? Have I got anything exciting in here in terms of deco? Not sure that I do. Maybe a pottery amphora? I can hear it taunting me. I do not like. Oh yes, flasks. We like flasks. That'll do. That'll do, pig. They are singing, and exactly the same amount, I think, are singing as before, and who knows what it means, but I'm very frustrated. They won't shut up! Why? I don't know why the owls don't bother me in the same way. I think it's because the wolves always sound really, really nearby, and usually it's because they are nearby, but maybe that's just coincidental. I'm just going to try very hard not to listen. So, right. Let's drop all of these things here. Can decorate a shelf, and then I'm going to start actually committing to putting some furniture in because we are, I don't know how far into stream. 2 fucking hours into stream, and have I decorated anything yet? Have I? Fuck. Right. What goes on my shelf? The reason I'm pulling this out to do this is because once you push this into here, even though visually it doesn't look like it's in a wall, technically it is. And what you'll find is that then once it's in the wall, if you try and place stuff on it, it'll let you place in some places, but in others it might be finicky about it. It often tends to be finicky on the left side, and I don't really know why. Although, I mean, I said that, it's now letting me do it just to prove me wrong. Is it going to let me place everywhere? No. There we go. So, where? Cannot reach that spot. So it's that side that it's going to be finicky about. Anyway. Right, let's try that again. So, don't think I really want to nest a second thing in here, although I do often nest empty shelves over things like bloody wolves. I often nest empty shelves over things like planter racks and amphora racks so that I can decorate around them. But I don't actually want to do that here. I just want some stuff on the shelves, so it looks a little bit intentional. Just enough to sort of appease me for now. Picked up some flasks, didn't I? So let's have one of those. There's a jar here. And an owl. Owl hoot. I don't, because this is going to go right into the corner, I don't actually want them right on the edge. So, ooh! Ah, wait, hang on. Wrong jars. Those are actually dies. That one is not. Speaking of dies, I suspect the same is true, that if I can't reach them to place them, I also can't reach them to dye them. So if I want to dye them, maybe I should also do that while they're here. Maybe you need to go in the middle. The top one's going to be tricky as well because it's going to be mostly pushed in, but maybe I could just place this little one right on the top edge and it'll be fine. Probably, once I push it into the wall. Those are not evenly spaced. Let's stick a glass jar here somewhere. To not get too finicky about my placement because otherwise it starts looking like too symmetrical. And let's have some mugs across the middle, maybe. Because it is a bar, after all. I just need one more of those. And to come out third person, because ugh. There we go. I think I made. Did I make coffee things as well? Never mind. I don't know why I just picked up a pottery cup. I wanted a beer stein. It's been a long week. I am brain tired. Let's try that again, shall we? Right, one of those. Good. Because pub. Shut up! Bloody wolf. I'm going to rewatch this back on VOD, and like the worm sounds are going to be so quiet for you guys that you're all like, I'm not hearing anything. Calver can hear him though, he'll back me up. I'm not mad. Little sods are taunting me. Right, that'll do us. Except I should have lined up my beer steins with that because it's going to bother me that they are not centered with the teapot above. Let's just, for the sake of my own sanity, just redo that, shall we? That look kind of centered. Right. Think of all the skills I could be gaining, Bun. If I weren't just... See, these don't even pivot round a center point. Oh, give us a central axis on stuff. Pretty please. You can hear me moving stuff, but you can't hear the wolves. God damn it. While I'm here, since I do have some things, I've also got in my measuring jugs, I've also got some random bits of dye. Maybe I should just put a little bit of colour on some of these. I don't want to go with very bright dyes, really. Let's see what that one looks like. Because I don't want it to look jarring. That's quite nice. No! I did not mean to place. Right. Let's try that again. Paint. Paint. Maybe I should do something ever so slightly. Do you know what? I need another thing to bloody mix in, don't I? How much can you fit in a pottery flask? I feel like it's not very... Yeah, it's not very much. Not enough. I desperately need to take something out of one of these measuring jugs so that I can bloody mix some dyes on the go. There we go, pet bowl, that'll do. Right, let's put this one up there because that's a pinkish one. And how much does it take to dye a jar? Let's find out. 40 grams. So I need 2 to do this, don't I? It'll be all right. So let's stick 20 grams of that. Let's put that in the pottery flask, which is precisely 25, and then just change the thing on that, and that'll do it, and I'll have a little bit left over, but whatever. And it looks exactly the fucking same! That's because it was 350. It was 350, not 20, like 250, not 25. Let's try again. Set volume to 20. There's a more sensible way to do this. Stick 20 in there, and then 20, and then mix them. I just want a slightly different variation. I don't want much. That'll do. I have a horrid suspicion, you know, that is almost the same. This is why I don't dye stuff, guys. Well, I do dye stuff, but this is why I don't. I so often just rely on other people to make beautiful dyes for me. I don't like that that's stuck in there a little bit, so I'm just gonna slightly move that back. And let's just darken that down a little bit for the jar as well. Now, of course, you're getting all of those awful sounds that you get when Calvert and I go mountain climbing. It just sounds like somebody pissing in a bucket constantly. Right. Some colour. I'm annoyed that you can't dye beer steins. I would like to be able to dye them beer colours.
Sacre bleu! Invaders!
Oh my goodness. Well, off you go, Calvert. Now's the time. Hello, cats. I suspect they're going to get pre-roll ads, so I'm just going to wait like 30 seconds for them and then give them a proper hello. What was it doing? I tell you what, let's just use that one. Over on there. I don't know if they can hear me yet or not. My sense of the passage of time is just terrible. But hopefully you guys can hear me now. Hello, Galandria. Nice to see you. Hello, Kesha. Hello, cats and your raiders. Super. Thank you, cats. Yeah, hi, guys. Have you just come from a Valheim stream? We're doing some decorating today on Exodus in my Treehouse Micropub, which is a little like house on stilts wrapped around an oak tree. Let me get out of third person because third person's the devil. So we are over on Exodus on the Southern Freedom Isles in Worm for anybody who has just joined us. I have built this little tree house which spirals its way up around an oak tree, and now I am trying to do a micropub in it. It's a donut house. Hi, Griffith. How you doing? So yeah, I'm trying to do a little kind of like micropub sort of community space in it. We've only got one tile width all the way around, so I'm going to be working in a very, very narrow space. And there are wolves plaguing me. Howling in my ears. I did try and go and hunt them all down. It did not go well. I thought I'd got them all, but they're still howling. And this is when Cats tells me that wolf howls are indeed just ambient sound. How are you guys? Have you had a good stream this afternoon, Cats? Imaginary wolves, Madoon, absolutely. They might well be, but I swear I have watched a wolf do that raise its head and howl animation when I get a howl sound, which is why I think that they're not ambient and they do actually belong to... But god damn it, I hunted down so many of them and they're still doing it. So we're going to push this into the gap. This is a balcony on a timber building. You can push it almost all the way in, but not quite. But once it's in there, it's going to be very hard to place stuff on it, which is why I've placed and dyed stuff first. On your 11th attempt to do full perma... 11th attempt. Oh, credit to you, cats. You've got super endurance. So by attempt, I take it you did not make it this time either? Or are you still... Okay, still going. Okay, good. Well, fingers crossed for this one. The lovely Cat's Purr, who has just raided our stream, has been a long-time Worm player and has contributed some of the very lovely textures and art and things to the game. So we have Cats to thank for fancy horse skins, for example. Cats has also got a super little Worm website that lists a load of the item models, what the item models look like for things. So if you're somebody who's trying to figure out what other stuff you can decorate with that you might not have thought about, Cats has a great website for that. On your 10th attempt, you were killing the final boss. Oh no, so close! Oh, Cats! How gutting. I will come and try and catch one of them again soon. You do, yeah. I mean, imagine it's very hard to keep a site like that updated, but also it is still a wealth of there's still a wealth of really useful stuff on there. I don't have a link to hand, but if you do, feel free to drop one in chat. It's not going to let me nudge it anymore, but it's not quite lined up. You know what? That's close enough. That's close enough. And my teapot didn't disappear into the wall, importantly. So let's close all of these down and actually start building the bar around it. So we said we were going to go with, and I think to get the width right for the cupboards, I actually needed to line it up with the outside. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm aiming to line it up kind of with that. Like, how's that? Let me put some more bits down and we'll see. Because this is a very narrow room, I've got to be careful how far any bar comes out into it. But I think I'll be all right with this. This coming out this far, since I've tucked half of it into a wall. So if we just pop that neatly there. I have another one of those, which actually I'm going to place last because it might need a little bit of an overlap. We're then going to get some Z fighting, which is where the two surfaces overlap one another and you get that kind of like horrible jittery thing, but I can cover that up with some carefully placed stuff so it doesn't bother me so much. So the more important thing is to make sure that the fit is right this way. So I think we're looking at kind of there-ish. The question's going to be, have I got this the same amount in as that one? I think it's actually further in, isn't it? Look at that. So I want it lined up kind of with this. But yes, so Treehouse Micropub, for anybody who just joined. Which is, I've seen people do different variations of tree houses. Robbie Crusoe, one of my alliance mates over on Release, has made a house that actually is tree-shaped rather than a house wrapping round a tree. And I've certainly seen people with donut houses with sort of like a central yard with like a feature tree in it. I really like those. But I haven't seen, although I'm sure that some people have done this before, I haven't seen anybody literally like wrapping a tiny little donut house around a tree like this. And I just kind of liked this sort of idea of featuring the tree all the way up and having it sort of hug the trunk going up and around. So that was the brief idea that sparked this this particular bit of whimsy. So here I need to line it up with both that side, and clearly I needed to pull that further out, but that's okay. Do that in a second. So we're getting there a little bit by little bit. I'm just going to, oh, no, you know what? Oh, that'll do, pig. That'll do for now. Right, so we've got like a little kind of bar, high sides, low front. Let's put some bar stools along the front. Pretty sure you sit that way on them, but we're about to find out. Voila. Yeah. So I don't mind that they are all different colours. In fact, I kind of like it. So we're going to go with 3 different shades. Wait, you're pestering me to get missing the ruffle horn. Hello, Parser. Sorry if I missed anybody else coming in as well, and I don't know if I missed any of other any other of Cat's Raiders who waved when coming in. I think I got you all. Nice to see you, Parser. They're not imaginary walls, Madoon. Calvert will back me up. I'm not going. They're so loud in my ears. I won't shut up.
Yes.
Hello, Bun.
Magnificent.
Didn't realise you stepped away, but hello back. Thanks. Thanks, Calvert, for dropping the link in. Trees. So they don't. Okay, so whether they freeze in time with enchanting, I think they do. I've been told that they don't, that it just really, really slows them down. But this is going to be an experiment in that because I planted this oak 2 days ago. I wild growthed it up to shriveled, which is its final stage. And for anybody that doesn't know this, because I only found this out a couple of months ago, while animals get smaller once they go past the aged stage, venerable is smaller than aged, the same is not true of trees. So if you are trying to take down a tree that's obstructing your view, the highest one that you will find that you're looking for is going to be a shriveled tree. Like the sods don't get smaller, they get bigger. So this is a shriveled oak. It is now enchanted. It will probably stay enchanted shriveled oak for some time, but if at some point it disappears, we will know that it just really, really, really slows their aging, I guess, rather than freezing it in time. I think it effectively kind of freezes it. Like I've had enchanted trees that haven't changed in the whole time, but also oaks grow really slowly anyway. So, whoops. I was going to show you jumping down onto the tree, but instead I just catapulted myself onto the floor. But oaks grow really slowly anyway, so even if it does pop, it's not going to be a problem. It's a donut house, so that tile is still going to be valid to plant another tree on. And I will just plant another, and I guess knock it all the way up to old instead of shriveled, enchant it again, and then it will last us a good long time. But yes, what I was going to show you, because I'm about level with the top of the oak tree here up on the 4th floor, is the fun thing about this is you can go and like stand on top of the oak tree, only for a few seconds before it dumps you down the bottom. But when you do it right and don't do what I just did, it at least will be a soft landing. There we go. So no damage from that. What? Oh! She says. Was that? Hang on. Yes. No damage from that landing. The ouch was from where I just threw myself off a balcony. Technically, I am now in my oak tree, and I think this is quite a cool view, like up in the middle of all of these balconies. But yes, so it's an enchanted oak. We'll see if it remains shriveled indefinitely. Because I've heard people go both ways. I thought they stayed forever. I've had people tell me that that is not the case. They just stay that way for a long time and really, really slow down growth. So this is going to be a little bit of an experiment to find that out. So yeah, Parser missing a ruffle horn. I can't keep up with all of your changes to the ruffle horn though, Calvert. And I feel like that's very much a Calvert stream thing. You've been lurking, and you came over in the raid. You took Ruffle for a deli tour and lost her, Myra. Yeah, and despite being the biggest bun, yeah, we'll give you like a scrap log. I mean, that's the thing, right? It feels like it feels like it should be a smaller one, like venerable animals are smaller, but it's not. It's the biggest, and I discovered this because there's a tower going up the middle of Thal Spring, which is Calvert's Deed right next door, which is where I live, where I'm a citizen of, when I'm on Exodus. So Calvert and I live over here in Thal Spring. There's a tower right in the middle of it, which is something like 11 or 12, 13 stories high. I don't know. And we go up there to watch the skies sometimes, and the trees around it, sometimes there's just one fucker that's just slightly too high and it's spoiling a view. And this bothered me enough a couple of months ago that I went trying to find and kill that tree, and I must have bulldozed half the trees across Thal Spring trying to find it, because I was convinced it had to be one of the old ones. I tried the sprouting ones and finally discovered that no, it is shriveled trees. They're the ones that are the tallest, and I had discounted them because I just assumed that they were smaller because you get nothing from them, and because with animals they do get smaller. But live and learn. Right, so we've got our little bar area here. I was just doing stool placement, wasn't I? So let's just, if I line one up with the middle, we said that way's facing forward, then I'm going to have to put something to cover that Z fighting. That's what I was talking about there, where the two surfaces are exactly level. You get that kind of like jittery stuff where they overlap. Thankfully, you don't get it on slightly curved surfaces. It's just where they're completely level like that. And let's see, I'm even struggling a little bit with placement because I can't back up any further than this. I'm backed up right against the wall, and I hate doing placement in third person. Avoid it if I can. But it is proving a little bit of a challenge. So that should put us at the bar, kind of with my knees in, but you know what, who's looking? Who cares? And then I can put some like cups and things on shelves here, and in fact I might just do that since I've got some pre-made. What else we got? What else we got? Another Moomin falling out of windows. What have you been doing, Moomin? You need to rename the tower to my cursing tower. Sorry, guys, I'm just catching up. My cursing tower? You're the one that falls off it all the time. I think you should call it your oops tower. The number of times you go to climb back down the ladder and you just tap backwards. And then I have to go and, like, bandage up your bruises. Cats, you've never understood why animals get smaller when they're super old. Well, I don't know that it happens. I don't know if it happens for big things like cattle and horses. It kind of does happen for smaller creatures like cats, for example, but only in as much as the same way that it happens with people. Like, you sort of you tend to lose a lot of weight and like muscle mass when you get older, and like the bones, like as the bones start to get less robust and things, people tend to get smaller once they reach a certain age, because, like, you know, I think it's like the spine compression and just like the muscle loss. So it sort of makes sense that the animals do get smaller just at their final stage. But the fact that the tree is shriveled, like shriveled, you think like gotten smaller, right? Like shriveled in on itself, but no, it's shot up. Yeah, Mima said the same. People shrink when they get older. Is the bar ready? Not quite, Calvert, but nearly. If you want to bring some booze over for the bar, though, you could come and christen it. I didn't. Well, I've got a little bit of booze, but it's decorative booze. You're not allowed to drink it. I've got a couple of jugs of like mead and things, and empty wine barrels, which I definitely didn't pinch out of your granary because I was too lazy to make some. Oh, I've got whiskey. I stole the whiskey out of the cart. Whoops. What else have we got? Things to go on shelves behind the bar. That was the plan, wasn't it? So let's have some of those and a couple of those. And the rest we'll keep. I ought to make some skull cups, but they're kind of a pain in the arse to make. And it would have taken me about as long to make skull cups as it did to prep the rest of the furniture for today. So the reason, by the way, that I've got this parked right across the end was because I was intending to reach down from up top to it, but actually it's more in the way than anything. I keep like blindly navigating my way through it. Tell you what, let's take a couple of racks up, and also whilst I'm here,
Oh, yes.
let's put those couple of hop trellises up. Moomin's falling out of your windows, Mimas. My goodness. You tested Mimas' new cathedral. Unlocked public portcullises and you went straight through one. Yeah. There was whiskey in the cart, there isn't any more. Anyway, it should be whiskey in the jar. If you're singing a song at me, bun. What did I want to do? Got my trellises. I needed barrels to actually stick in them. That was what I opened this up for and then immediately forgot. So I've got a wine barrel there. What have I done? I know I put some somewhere because I made a bunch of barrels this afternoon. There we go. Right, let's just have a couple of those for decorative value. That'll do us. So I'm going to put some stuff on the shelves. Then I'm going to decorate the space around it. I was going to put my bow rack in there, but maybe I should have some seating there. Tell you what, I might do. How big are the barrel racks? Can I tuck one under the stairs, do we reckon? Let's find out just how big they are. My sense is that a small barrel rack will fit under there just fine, but I think a wine barrel rack's going to be pushing it. So put one of those in there, one of those in there. Fairly sure I'm right. But if we put that like... Speaking of which, there you go. That one's oak. Does it match the other oak? Pokes through the stairs. Hang on. We can do it. Let's just do it a little nudge. Alternatively, if I pop it in there, am I still going to be able to reach barrels out of it? Let's find out. So as far as it's going to go, maybe you could nudge. I'm not going to nudge it any further. It's going to impact the stairs as long as it's not at the moment. Is it now going to let me take things in and out? Yes or no? Yes. Excellent. Good. That can go there. Put some stuff on the side. Let's have one of those there. One of those down there. Now here I might encounter a problem because I've pushed this into the wall. It might not actually let me place on some of these. But I think as long as I stay out of the bit that's in the wall, I might be all right. Might be all right. We'll see. I might just have to not put some things where I want to put them, for the sake of keeping it sort of tidy-ish. I like those. I like the idea of them being like little sort of sake cups or something. Let's have one of those up on there, if it'll let me place it that far. Yes, it will. And can we fit a flask on any of these lower ones? No, it's going to look weird, isn't it? I also, although you mostly can't see the fronts of the cupboards, I have got these secret little like holes down here for tucking stuff. And I kind of want to put something in there, but it needs to be something shorter. I should come back to that. I don't like that little lone cup there, though. So instead, let's just pop that one up there. And pop the pottery flask over there. Maybe also, whilst I'm here, let's just paint it. Might be too blue. What are you yesing at, Calvert? What did I miss? What did I miss? What did you do? What did you do? How bright are you going to be? Too bright? Oh, quite bright. Less bright. You found a wolf. Have you taken it out for me? Because if you're running it over here to taunt me with, you and I are going to fall out. And I probably want to put some more stuff on that shelf at some point, but I can come back to that. Now, I also brought up some trellises. So I'm going to use these to screen off this bit. Well, obviously it won't actually prevent anybody from walking through. While we're talking about things we'd like when they're doing as building upgrades, I would really like half-width fences so that we can use T-arches to better effect. And also so that where you use stairs like this leading up to a balcony, you can actually like put a barrier, a safety barrier in front of the bit that you don't come up. Really kind of bugs me having that open. You invited him to the bar opening. Parser, you just ridden your way across Xanadu. Take care. Good to see you. Right, hops trellises. So these are a really nice width, though, for just closing off a T-arch. I often also use bookcases to close off T-arches, but they're not quite wide enough to do it with one. So if you're going to try and do it with bookcases, you've got to be prepared to do some jiggery-pokery, putting two side by side and overlapping them beautifully. But what I've done there is essentially just done two hop trellises back to back, just on the edge of, she says and immediately picks one back up again, just on the edge of this tile, because that tile right there, although it looks like you could place stuff on it, you can't. It treats the whole thing as an opening, so anything that goes on this tile or in this space will just drop right through. So let's secure that one and that one. It just gives a little bit of a, I don't know, a don't walk here screen, but still gives you that little open bit there to go around the side. Telling Calvert to put on pants. So your deed is halfway across Xanadu to get to your wife's deeds. Oh man, you know what? Maps on Xanadu. I take my hat off to anybody who does any kind of treasure maps on Xanadu. Although at least if they are Easter treasure maps, I assume you mean like the Easter Bunny ones, and those are at least quite close to your deed. They have separate houses, Bun. That's how the rich live. Yeah, at least the Easter maps are quite close to home, but you know, I've got a large amphora down there and I really want it for that corner. But I have to say, treasure maps on Xanadu. Oh. It's one of those as well. So just because I saw a corner and I wanted to put something in it, let's just pop that neatly over there. Nice. Which means I don't need those for now. Going to need to have something in this corner, but we'll come to that another time because nothing's immediately leaping to mind. So we've got our first bit of the bar set up. Separate halves of the continent. Hey, that's just how some people manage their spaces, man. Like, space brings them closer together. So, oh, can't put it in there. Maybe there's room in here. So somewhere in here, I've got an alchemist cupboard, and I said that for anybody trying to set up a bar in a small space, alchemist cupboard are the bee's knees. So let's build that one. Now, alchemist cupboard, because it is based on the cupboard model, at least this one I can guarantee will be the same colour as the cupboards. So that's what I need to make it in. Fairly sure we did the cupboards in oleander. I think if I find out we didn't, I'll come back down and I'll get something else. But what does that need? It needs a plank. So we're going to stick an alchemist's cupboard in oleander up on that floor as well. I've also got an unfinished larder here somewhere, and I might have one of those up there. Because I feel like, you know, if you're running a bar, you might need some space to keep your garnishes or your bar snacks. That needs a shaft. Now, I don't know. Did I do more than one larder? I didn't. I don't know how larders are going to come out in terms of colour. This is going to be a bit of a gamble, and I might not like the result. But there's only one way to find out. So, alchemist cupboard, larder. Somehow I picked up the huge oil barrel when I didn't mean to, so let's just check. No, that actually also needs a shaft. It's shafts I need, not planks. And I'm also going to stick a wooden bench or two up there. And tuck some of those into the gaps so we've got a little bit more seating around it. Shafts. Come on, brain. Shafts. So I'm going to do a very, very risky thing. And I'm going to risk them both on oleander, even though sometimes we know we do not like the way oleander comes out. I think on balance, it's probably still going to be more reliable than oak, because oak sometimes comes out too reddish, whereas oleander, at least if it comes out different, it tends to come out darker or paler. So larder alchemist cupboard, what else did I say? Benches. Let's find a couple of benches. Parson needs loads of space, like half of Xanadu, clearly. Don't blame him. I also need to do something around the corner in that other balcony, and I kind of want to do, I think I want to do a planter rack with some shelving so I can tuck stuff around it. Do I want a planter rack for fresh herbs to put as garnishes in your cocktails, or do I want an amphora rack full of liquids? I think I want the planter rack. Which means I also then need another one of my empty shelves, but those one I've already made somewhere. Oak wood. So to finish the planter rack, I need oak because it needs to match the shelf. So we want an oak plank. Method to my madness, just wait and see. One of those. And then wooden benches are also going to be a gamble. I don't know what they're going to look like. I know that the willow benches don't match the willow when I was trying to do a tonal match to shelves. But we haven't actually used any willow here, so it's going to be a toss-up between oleander an oak. And I'm going to make an oleander one, and it might make me cry. But I think I've got a few unfinished benches here. So if I make an oleander one and it's terrible, I will just make another, and it'll be all right. Where are you? There we go. Let's try and see. So that also needs a shaft. Probably should have picked them all up first, shouldn't I? So we've got shaft, shaft, shaft. Plank is for the planter rack. And I'm going to need a planter pot to put in the rack so that it looks like it's supposed to. Let's go. Go, go, go. Should probably have done something about that bruise as well, shouldn't I? Oh, it's my foot. I balked my foot. Am I carrying any cotton? Did I use it all patching up Calvert? I think I used it all patching up Calvert. Because he does get boo-boos all the time. Keeps throwing himself off things. Like you, Moomin. Right, what was it doing? Okay, so... You make me jump. Thanks, Ruffle. Push, you fibber. I don't push you off anything. Sometimes I lead you off things. I mean, there was that one time that I pushed you off a very, very tall tower in a rowboat, but you came out unscathed. I didn't. It's all right. It's fine. I wasn't expecting it. It sort of made me squeal. Okay, so planter rack and an empty shelf. I'm going to layer them one over the other. So oak wood is what we've got for this one, which matches beautifully with this timber here. So this is oak wood here. I mean, I say beautifully. It is obviously not a perfect match, but it's as close as we're going to get in wormwoods. So let's make an oak one of those. Need more bunnies. You need more bunnies. We do need more bunnies. Oh, you mean but like for the boat thing? I was watching that clip the other day as well when we were all like bouncing around in bunny form around the boat that I was parading you around the DRF in, and that gave me a good chuckle. That was a good stream. I enjoyed that. Right, so we've got a planter rack. Stick those in it. Now I'm actually going to place it because sometimes it places a different way than it lands. So if I do it one that way, that's what I'm going to be working around. I'm going to place an empty shelf over the top, and I am going to replace these when I'm done, but I'm just putting them out here so that I can do placement without encountering the you can't reach this spot for once I push them in, but they're both then going to get pushed into that alcove. So what I didn't do what I didn't do was go and pick up my scatter tat. Let's just drop those for a second. I should have brought all of my scatter tat up really, shouldn't I? But I'm not going to put too much in there, just a couple of things to give it a little bit of visual interest. So let's have the last one of those. And why not a rogue one of those? One of those. Don't know if I want those, but let's take them anyway. And how many pillars are you up to now, brazier pillars? Are you up to now, Calvert? Out of 40. You run out of steam yet? Treehouse tat. Let's have an amphora, although it's probably too big to tuck around something. Don't want to check them out yet. Pottery flask or 2. Ooh, we haven't put any mugs down yet. Let's have the mugs in the coffee pot. Right, that'll do us. I was thinking I might put one of those nice Easter baskets down somewhere with a pet bowl beside it and make a little kind of like, you know, place for your dog. Because it's a pub. Pub should have a water bowl and a place for a dog. We're now at that awkward time where the sun has come up and the lights have gone out, but the sun is not actually yet up enough to cast light properly in here. So we're now in a little bit of shadow for a while, but we'll live with it. So the way this works is I've layered an empty shelf over a planter rack. And what that allows you to do is drop stuff on the empty shelf tucked between the plant pots so that it just fills this in a little bit more, makes it look a little bit busier. Like, for example, now I can pull this forward if I can't get the placement quite right, doing them overlapping one another. I think actually an amphora is going to be too big for this space. I don't want that. But there are other ways around that problem, which I'll show you in just a second. So if I wanted to place that, for example, now those overlaps are actually kind of a pain. Like I can do it, but it's limiting my placement. So if instead I tilt that round a little bit, yeah, plantar rack. So if we tilt it that way, I know roughly where I want to go. I'm not going to get it colliding with a planter once I put it back around. So if I do something like, for example, that, then hopefully, there we go. And now it will sit neatly just like that. Some places I won't actually need to turn it around like that at all, and it will be fine. But like, for example, I can probably just about pop one there. Oh, what do you mean I cannot reach that spot? You sod. Am I technically slightly into the wall, or does it not just like me having that over the top? It also doesn't like you placing stuff really close to the edge of these, which sometimes is a problem because when I pop this back, you'll see the planters aren't actually, yeah, I think it's just too close to the edge. They aren't actually evenly spaced on the shelves. So this lower one's okay, but these upper ones, they're like slightly off to the left. That's okay. I'll just have to put it a little bit further in because I can't fit something quite that big there. But that'll do. Let's pop those two there. Let's tuck a coffee pot in here somewhere because we don't have one already. Are you going to make me? No, you'll go there. Two more. They're not bras, Calvert. Two more braziers. Okay, but how many are you up to total? Because we were up to what, 6 or 8 the other day? Sorry, Ruffle. Whoops. I'm so distracting. I mean, I was just talking my way through building an alchemist cupboard and then promptly picked up my unfinished huge oil barrel thing. So I do it to myself too, if that's any consolation at all. I feel like... Is that all I picked up? I need some more yellow potions. Have I got any in my shenanigans bag? Yes, I do. Let's stick a shenanigans one there. Because I do quite like yellow potions to decorate with. Oh, it's not going to let me put it that far over. But how about right on this corner? It is funny, like you can stick stuff right on the edge on this side, but not right on the edge on that side. It's super weird. Anyway, so now that I've sort of got just a little bit of something on there, and I know how they sit together, I'm going to move that one there. And because this is not a container, when I pick it up and move it, the things I've placed on it will stay. Where you put stuff in containers, like I think coffers might do it, for example, because you can also put stuff in coffers and place stuff on top. I think when you move a coffer, it will then drop the stuff in it because it's also an item you can open. I don't know if all of them behave that way, but there are some things that do. But shelves are safe. Bookshelves are safe as well. So you can do all of your placement on a bookshelf. For example, with actually placing books on bookshelves, so you don't have to rotate them all the right way. If you just place your bookshelf so that the default placement position for your book is spine facing towards you, you can place all of your books that way and then just pick up the whole bookshelf and rotate and put that in position wherever you want, and it saves you a whole load of rotating 42 books or however many you can fit in a large bookshelf. I think it's 42. Can't remember how many you can fit in a small one. If you pick up a bookshelf, the item goes inside it. How, Myra? Because you can't open a bookshelf, right? It's not openable like a container, so it shouldn't. It's only, but cupboards can, for example, because you can open and put items in a cupboard, it tends to be the container ones that lose it. Oh, shelf. Okay. I've never had that happen with empty shelves, but that's good to know. But it just, you say if you just do the rotation, then they reappear. Anyway, we're about to find out, I suppose. So the trick is going to be making sure I rotate them both the right way again, so that they're still where I wanted them. And let's also close those because those are getting in my way. So let's just line that one up. There, that was a little bit too far. So I'm going to have to put it a little bit further out than that. Didn't like that. So let's try sort of there and pushing it back, I guess. Gonna have to push it gently, aren't I? Ooh, you're not gonna let me put it any further. All right. Let's try placing this one directly over the top. Hopefully, everything will still align. Look at that. There she goes. Now, what else did I say? I said I wanted an alchemist cupboard to keep my booze in, because since they upgraded alchemist's cupboards so that you can, for a start, fit more in them, but also so that you don't use items to seal and reseal, unseal and reseal the vials in there. They're actually a really good way of keeping an array of smaller amounts of alcohol. I mean, you'd still need your barrels and stuff for your big amounts, but for what you actually fit in, like a cup or a stein, something like that, alchemist cupboard are great, because anything that might decay, like mead, for example, you can put that in the vials and then seal it, and you don't have to keep using pegs or sealing kits every time. And for anything that doesn't decay, like, for example, moonshine or whiskey, you can put that in the bowls in an alchemist cupboard and just leave them open, because the bowls do take a sealing kit to seal, but you just stick something in it that doesn't need to be sealed, and you're golden. You had that problem with that and the tons of cups in the cheese house. Find the cheese house. I see. Oh, yeah. And you have that problem with, like, cupboards. Cupboards, coffers do it in particular, and sometimes shelves do. Yeah, where not everybody can see the items spawned on it until you turn it, and you don't know whether they can see it or not. That is a real problem for running games. I found that with one of the ones at Mardi Gras, where you were following clues, and one of the clues was in, I think, like the bakehouse or something, and it was on, I think it was on like a cupboard, or it was maybe on a table, where for some people they could see all the items on the table, and for the others they could only see like 2 or none. And it was just really unfortunate in that one that the clue that you needed was one that was vanishing for some people. And we figured out that that's what was happening partway through. But it is a shame for things like that, because sometimes it scuppers stuff. And I think they've been caught out like that before, because, like, previous year, you were looking for, like, books with clues in, and sometimes those books were on things where they would just disappear for some people. Super frustrating. What was I doing? Adding that to the crafting window. And then we're going to take a punt. This one's not a punt, actually. This one is a safe bet with Oleander. Because it's an alchemist cupboard, it is based on the same model as these, so it should come out the exact same colour. The wooden bench and the larder, though, those are going to be a punt, because we don't quite know what colour they're going to come out till we make them. They might look great, they might clash. Ba-ba-bam. Watch the game now defy me completely and prove me wrong. Yeah, no, so they're the same colour. We're good, we're golden. So I quite like that, maybe for this corner, actually. I did consider trying to put it up alongside the door, and it will fit, I think, but it goes right up to the line, and tucks into the wall, and then you get this beam here, which I don't like. So I think I quite like having things angled into corners in buildings to just round off the squareness of them a little bit. I think we just want it so that the white is not showing through. Need to come out a little bit further, though, because the beams are. So let's try that again. Should do it. So what I was saying about Alchemist Cupboard, they've got 10 measuring flasks. You can set the volume on them, although sometimes they get a little bit buggy and they won't let you reset it. So don't make the mistake that I did on some of mine. I've got a room full of these in all different wood types, including archaeology woods, that I have for my dye room. back at Brambleheim, my alchemist's hut. And some of them I set to smaller measures in order to do some mixing. It's a bad idea because it can be funny about you getting to set the measures on some of them. In fact, it doesn't seem to want me to set the volume on any of these right now. But the basins then are bigger. Those are the ones that you would need a sealing kit to seal. These ones you would just right click and seal them. So if I pop something in it, for example, like that, then you just one click seal them, one click unseal them. Super fast, doesn't use any resources. For these, you would have to use a sealing kit. But as I said, if you stick something like moonshine that doesn't decay in them, you're fine. Also, they've got limited storage here. So you could actually stick your, I don't know, extra bits in there. I'm trying to think what bits you would need in a bar that would go in bulk storage. But is this bulk storage? I feel like this is bulk storage as opposed to just, yeah. So this is bulk storage, so you could stick in an alchemy den, you'd stick your bladders and your fat and your hearts and things in there. I think these take food bulk items, as well as normal bulk items. I don't think I've actually got anything here I could check it with. But so it would take tar, for example. But just worth knowing if you haven't investigated these ever or since they upgraded them. But really quite useful then for keeping sort of small amounts of booze or whatever else. I really wish that for the items like this, where they've put surface decoration on them, because a lot of items don't have that at all, rather than lose this entirely, I wish they would just introduce like a little toggle so that you could turn that decoration on or off. Same with things like forges, because people do like to decorate them and put stuff on them, and it's inconsistent about whether you can do that as well. So like on a forge, although a forge already has some like items as part of the model, you can still place stuff on a forge. You can't place stuff on an alchemist's cupboard. And when you have several of them lined up, then it starts to look kind of weird, where you've got the exact same scatter-tat on every single one. And I would really like a toggle to just be able to just turn this off if you don't want it. Good night, Moomin. Have a good night's sleep. Because it feels like you should be able to at least place stuff around this, but you just can't. It's not a placeable surface. That bugs me. But yes, so we've got an alchemist cupboard in the corner. I need to put some stuff either side of it. I don't think I don't know if it's going to be seating or if it's going to be something else. It could be. I don't think I could tuck in coffers neatly there. I might be able to. But tell you what, let's make up the bench. I think the bench is going to be too deep to tuck neatly into there. My intention is to tuck the bench into one of these. But this is where we're going to start taking some slight risks, because I don't know how oleander wood's going to come out on a bench. I don't think I've ever made one in oleander before. Come on, boys, bar's open. Ooh, it's quite dark. Let's have a look at it next to the other oleander over here. It's almost sort of walnutty dark. It's like, it looks like it's a richer brown. We're about to find out though. Yeah, look at that. It's a red brown. You shit. Oleander, which is generally not too reddish. I mean, that's a little bit redder, but it's usually quite a neutral brown. But in this one, that's almost a purple brown again. Tell you what, since I have got wait, no, don't skewer it. Since I have got a few of these made up, unfinished, I'm also just going to go and knock one out in oak wood and see if oak wood's a better fit tonally before I place that one. Because all it's going to take, thankfully, is a shaft, having pre-made them for the most part. So what do we one of those. Oak wood shaft. If the oak wood is too golden and the oleander is too it's too purpley, I might be fucked, because willow is definitely not a match for other willow. And I think, well, having said that, I think actually the willow bench might be a match for the, you know what, I'm going to take two up and we're going to see. Because I'm sure I can find something to do with two benches in woods that I did not intend. Right, let's have a willow one in case the oak doesn't work. And we'll just see how we go. And take another one of those. Those. There they are. We'll find out. So slow carrying all the stuff. Also not drinking enough. So that's our oleander one, which is chocolatey dark. I'm going to place it here just so that we can do a side-by-side comparison when I make the others. Let's try oak first. Precisely. Let's try oak first. Oh, what do you mean I failed? 89% chance with, what's my fine carpentry? 83? Oh, wait. What? There it is, it's hiding. So the oak wood is indeed not a very good match. Okay, so this is one of the biggest contrasts, right? That is oak right there. That is oak right there. Look how different. Those are not even in the same family. Oak. Oak. Right, let's yeet that off the side, because either way I definitely do not want that. I need to remember to go and pick up all this furniture that I've just yeeted out of a window at the end in my impatience. Yeah. Oak with like a really dark varnish. But it's orangey, right? Look at that. So that's an orangey oak. And then this is a yellowish oak. And I just... Right, final punt. I'm going to take a risk it for a biscuit on willow. Because whilst I know that the willow benches don't match the willow bookshelves, which really nicely match this timber, it's because it's washed out. Oh, man. Even that's pinkish. Look at this. Do you know what? After all that, I think it's going to have to be the oleander, even though it's purplish. Like, it is a much better match for those than either of these. The willow bench at least is slightly more neutral, but it's still a kind of pinkish neutral, and it looks like it really clashes with the timber here, and I don't like that, so that one is also going to get yeeted out of the window. I'm like a cat. Just sort of like, nope, push this off. Nope. Nope. No. Bye. Whoop. There it goes. So it's going to have to be the oleander wood after all that. First one I made. Even though it is kind of dark. Maybe it'll be not so bad with a little bit of sunshine behind it. And I was talking about things that fit beautifully into jetties and balconies. The bench is kind of sort of one of them. It overlaps just a little bit, but you know what, I can live with it. Because I really quite like these tucked into gaps. And on the plus side, whilst putting shelves into those gaps prevents you from placing some things on them sometimes, pushing seating into the gaps does not prevent you from sitting in them. So as you'll see, it cuts ever so slightly into the arms, but it is only ever so slightly. It's a pretty close fit. Alas, the chaise longue does not fit quite so beautifully in here. It cuts into the fabric, and that bothers me a lot more. Is it going to let me push it any further? Just to even it up? Yes. Is it going to let me push it one more? Let's find out. And you can push these quite a way in as well, which I'll show you from the side, means that actually they're really quite nice and narrow profile when you're dealing with a room where you don't have much room, like this one. This is a super way to get seating in the room without it jutting out. So I really, really like these for decorating small spaces. Right, there you go. That's as far as it'll let me go. Look at that. Look at that. Barely touches the room. It slots so nicely into the balcony, and has no issue with me just sitting on it as normal. So there you go. Pro tip for small spaces, whatever. And also it doesn't mess with you when you get up. You don't get like stuck or anything. So that is my favourite thing to put in these gaps. But I do also like shelves and planter racks and amphora racks and things. They also pop in really very neatly. And you can still make use of a little bit of that top shelf if you want to put stuff on it. And do I want to put stuff on it? Me. No, I'm good. Don't really want to mess around with putting things in front of that, but I might. Oh, did I put that off center? How bad of me. How did I not notice? Let's try that again. Don't know. Do I want accent rugs up here? This marks the point where Calvert can yeet himself off it. For now. Let's get back out of third person. Unfortunately, I can't do anything, as I said, with this tile right here, because even though I've got these lovely nooks, it treats the whole thing as an opening effectively. So anything that you put on this tile will just drop right through. I don't really want to put... Although Jake thought that if we put low rope fences here, they shouldn't interfere with shooting stuff. Right now I don't have a bow here, but what I could do is yeet something out of my inventory like a thrown item to test it. So I kind of want to do that because that'll inform whether or not I actually put fences up here at all. So what do I want? Rope fences. Let's do a little bit of science. It feels these days like it is not a Crim stream without a little bit of science. Low rope fence. So we want 2 shafts, 2 ropes. Maybe I need that for channel points. Maybe I need a science points redeem. Where are you? There you are. So 2 ropes. And I need something large enough that when I yeet it out of my inventory, I can then find it again. And importantly, it's going to take damage when I yeet it, so it needs to be something repairable. So let's not throw the pottery out of the window. For science! Exactly. Tempting as it would be to just lob plates out of the window. That's a good point, actually. Have I got in here? Have I? I've got some marble shards. Tell you what, I do want to lob plates out of the window, but let's lob repairable plates out. I'm going to make myself a baking stone, because even though that's low profile, it's probably big enough that I can spot a baking stone in the grass, right? Probably. Maybe. And importantly, baking stones I can use for decor, and will, because they're quite nice. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to make some wooden plates, because I discovered the other day you can layer baking stones and wooden plates really nicely in one another, and I should have shown you guys that before I left the manor earlier, because I've done it there. I super like it. Particularly because you can dye the plates, the wooden plate as well, so you can essentially make sort of like nested things with like a colour ring of your choosing. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. That'll do. That'll do. Let's pop those back and let's just chop a couple of plates off a log. I can't put the log in the baking stone. Sod off. Now, what do I need? Was it going to be a carving knife? Yes. That'll do it. So we're going to go build a rope fence. Then we're going to try and yeet some plates off it to see, because I think if it let me use thrown weapons over the top, it should let me use it should let me like shoot bows off the top as well. That makes sense, right? My logic is totally sound, I'm sure. Now the other thing I'm going to do, because I've learned this lesson before with rope fences, is I'm going to add that to my crafting window now, because low rope fences are quite hard when you make them. Their unfinished form is quite hard to grasp. It's really low profile, which can make it quite hard to mouse over sometimes. It just bugs me. So let's pop that in there and do it all from here instead of doing it manually. Where are we? Low rope fence. Low rope fence. And wait, what do you... Yeah. Is it 3 shafts? You sod. Oh no, okay, it is 2. It is 2. I'm going to drop that one because I don't want it to use the oleander wood one. And I remembered to drop that one so it wouldn't use the oleander wood one. Right, there's our low rope fence. Now these are frustratingly a different colour again from the walls and the floors, but these can at least be dyed if it bothers you enough. So that is a low rope fence, and let's try... Never actually tried yeeting stuff. Am I going to need something to target is the problem. Calvert, are you still building? I need somebody to throw plates at. Is that, or I'm going to have to lure an animal over here or something, I suppose. Can I see one at mouse over? Because I assume it's not just going to let me lob stuff at the floor. Ranged. So we'll now throw activated items. Can I just lob at anything? No. Gonna need to find something to target. Target. It would be great, except I went and chased... I hate the noise donkeys make when you hit them. I can't bring myself to do it. I'm gonna have to go and lure something over to lob plates at. Because apparently Calvert's not going to come and let me throw plates at him. Let's. Right. See what we can find. I just need like a spider or something. Nice big target. Fairly sure there was a spider around here somewhere that I avoided. Can't throw them at the guard, sadly. Then I've just got to get it into position. This is not going to be the most straightforward science I've ever done. There's a Hell Scorpius over there, but that's going to be bloody slow. I don't really want to lure that all the way. I want something fast moving, but with a low pull range so that I can leave it behind easily enough. There we go. So a spider will do it. Here, Spidey. I'm also going to unequip my weapon so I don't, like, one-hit it. Right, you follow me. Let's go. Keep coming. Don't look, Ruffle. What these? Oh, those are the horses. Still coming? Yep, still coming. Where's my slope? There's my slope. How about now? Still coming. See, this is going to work. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, she says. Come on. Have I gone slightly too far? No, I'm good. I'm good. It is quite easy to lose these, so you need to not go too far when you're kiting them. Just give them a chance to catch up. Right. Now I'm going to lead him in more or less a straight line because I do want to make sure that it is over the fence. See, like there, I went just slightly too far. I need to make sure that he's directly in front of the fence so I know that the fence would be in the way if it came to it. Right, that should do. Now I'm going to lose him. So hopefully he will only follow me so far. Perfect. And hopefully just far enough that I'm not in pull range while I get back round up top, and I am already targeting him. So the question is, with a thrown item... Wait, hang on. I just had a moment where I was like, I know I only equipped my axe, but I didn't accidentally lob it at him, right? Is he too far? Because I can't... Can I lob stuff at him from here? I don't even know how this works, guys. Does he need to be so close that I would be in melee range for thrown items to work? Do I need to... Hi, Tantail, how you doing? Does anybody know how thrown stuff works? Like, what the range is? Because obviously on a bow it would be further, but maybe for thrown he does actually need to be... Oh, do you know what? My science might be about to come crumbling back down. And I shouldn't have come on foot, because I definitely cannot outrun him on foot. But maybe I can lure him just close enough. Nope. Oh no, he's going to end up under the house. Right, but maybe that will serve us okay. Because if... Oh no, he's teleported! That's cheating! Oh, whose idea was this? I'm meant to be throwing plates at him and he's teleported upstairs with me. Oh, you sod. Tell you what, how about... You going to follow round? Oh, this is going to be horrible. There we go. Right, he's back down. He's back down. The trouble is, like, so they do teleport upstairs, and I had a scorpion do this the other day. Here you go. He's going to... But there we go. Look at that. He just fucking slides up. It's kind of horrifying. And he's dropped again. But I think this experiment this is not going to work. I need you, Calvert. I can't do this with spider friends. Right, let's stop using ranged. Equip that. I mean, that's assuming I can, in fact, throw plates at things. Maybe you can't, but I assume you can, because I think you can throw pretty much any activated item, right? And he teleports back down. Frankly, this is horrifying. I don't want teleporting spiders. No. It does look like an invisible lift. It's like our elevator, but in reverse. Maybe what I need to do is mail myself a bow later and check it. But I mean, Jake knows what he's talking about. He reckons it should be fine. So maybe I will just crack on with fences. And I can always, like, it's not the end of the world. I can take them down if it's a problem for some reason. Yeah, so Tantail, you've just joined us. So we're, I'm building a Treehouse Micropub. So this is a little donut house wrapped around an oak tree that I am currently decorating like a micropub, basically. So we've got like a mini bar in a very, very small space that I'm just throwing together bit by bit. Now, what was this? Oh, yes, I was going to do a larder, wasn't I? With my remaining oleander shaft. So let's do that as well. I kind of fancy a larder tucked next to a door. Larders tuck beautifully either side of single doors. Tile, no, it is not yet, but one of the things I was saying earlier in the stream is I have to be quite careful with this, where I'm decorating stuff like this, because at some point I may hit a tile limit here, which will not stop me from dropping stuff, but it will stop me from nudging stuff, so I then wouldn't be able to like push, pull and tweak. So I need to make sure that the busiest items get placed first, because they're the ones that are most tricksy. Now the downside of putting it in this corner is I'm not going to like it tucked just behind that shelf. I don't think that looks weird, so maybe it has to go on this side. I'll pop something else in that corner. But we took, you know what? We took a punt on oleander wood, and I've just realised. Do you know what? That actually did okay. Look at that. So the oleander wood larder, for reference, is a really good match for the oak wood shelves. It is not a good match for the oleander bookshelves or cupboards, clearly. But it is a really good match for the timber and for the oak wood empty shelf. So if anybody is trying to sort of do tonal matches with this, that's actually a really nice match there. The oleander wood larder and the oak wood planter rack and empty shelf are pretty much indistinguishable from one another in terms of colour. So that's fine. That was a punt that paid off, even though I didn't expect it to come out that colour. I'm quite happy with that. So let's just tuck that back in the corner again. Like that. Perfect. And that shouldn't be too claustrophobic coming through this door either, because it is just far enough that it doesn't feel weird coming through there. Right, I was going to show you a thing with baking plates. So I think I can put them on cupboards. So baking plates make for really nice accent pieces like this. Let's just move that a second. And if you want to add a little bit more visual variation, you can nest a wooden plate in one, and all you see is that nice little ring there, and wooden plates are dyeable, which means that you can have a colouring in any colour you want, basically. And whilst you can place stuff in the middle of them and use it to sort of like a dish that you stand stuff on, bear in mind it will take off the lower bit of it. So for example, if you tried putting something really quite low profile, like a pottery cup, you'd lose most of the pottery cup in it. You see? So that doesn't really quite work, but things like the pottery flasks would probably be fine. Like, for example, that. So there you go. You can use them as nice, like, accent pieces. Cup of milk. Yeah. I mean, I'm not actually going to use it there in that way, but it's a thing that you can do with those anyway. Let's just put that back the way it was. So that was kind of there-ish, wasn't it? And tell you what, let's have a mug on the side there as well. Because why not? Mug in need of some paint. Let's try that one. Yeah, keystones are really quite nice for doing. Oh, those don't go together. Oh well. Keystones are really nice for doing fronts of things. I've seen people use keystones for like the fronts of bar areas, of like counters in shops. I've seen people use them, and I've used them for the front of like built-in tubs. Calvert's used them with really nice effect up at the villa. Up at his villa on the island, he uses them in like open archways to give that kind of like low level sort of like break, and they have I think they've got fences nested underneath them, so it is actually a physical barrier, but sort of like uses them to just give a little bit of a barrier on an otherwise open archway to really good effect up at the villa. I really like the way he's used them up there. So but they would be way too big for this bar. I think we might have gotten okay. We might have gotten one across the front okay, but they are quite deep. So they're great where you've got loads of room. They're also great where you're nesting them into stone walls, because wood walls are thinner. I think they would be too much in here, and because we're working with a very narrow space, I actually had to do a lot of, like, we nested these quite deep into the balcony in order to make this bar not come out too far. So this actually doesn't feel claustrophobic at all walking through here, and that is partly owing to these half nested this way, but also how far I can push a bench into a balcony, which helps a lot. So talked about having a bow rack there for my firing on people whilst drunk in the pub idea. I do think I made a bow rack, a mostly finished bow rack earlier. What I'm not going to like, though, is I know that bow racks are notorious for coming out ugly in terms of wood colours. So we're about to find out. Where are you? Bow rack. Let's try it in oleander, since oleander has been the best behaved of the woods so far tonight. Oh, see, now Calvert's back. I'm not up to no good. I just needed someone to throw plates at, and the spider was not playing ball. He kept teleporting upstairs. Very rude of him. Right, so I was talking about tucking one in here, wasn't I? I could also, like, have it across the corner where you're going to be doing your shooting from, but we'll see. So, how am I going to love this? Am I going to hate this? Am I about to find out it's not actually a shaft that it needs? No, it needs a peg. I don't think I've actually got any oleander wood pegs, so I'm just going to have to cut one off this anyway. No wolves around. Well, the problem I had is I've never tried using thrown items in combat before, and I can't quite work out how to do it, because you need to be close enough that your combat window comes up. But I don't know how close that is, because clearly it doesn't work at the range of a short bow. And even when it was coming up, probably because I've got no thrown item skills or whatever, but even when it came up, I was like wielding a plate and wasn't doing shit with it. But I figured if you came, we could spar and I could throw plates at you instead. For science, you know? Yeah, I'm too far away. Fibs and lies. So... That's good. That's good. All right. So, for science, oleander wood, next to oleander wood. In bow rack form, it is totally different to the cupboards and the bookshelves, but it is quite close to the larder, which, as we said, is a good match for the oak shelves and racks. So I think it's going to be... Oh, wait, I've taken it too far. I think it's not quite the same, but it's probably going to be a closer match for that. I'm about to find out, even though I don't want it all the way over here. Is it now, in fact, totally different? It's a bit different. Look at that. It's not even a match for the larder, but it's not far off. It'll do. It'll do. Through their wow. Yes, that's unfortunate, because anybody carrying a foe statuette at a rift is going to be somebody you're relying on for heals, so... So what happens when you throw items at creatures, then? Like, do they just land on the ground near the creature, where you've lobbed them? I assume that they don't... Sometimes... Can they appear in people's inventories? Like when you throw snowballs, sometimes people catch them. If I throw enough plates at Calvert, do you think some of them will appear in his inventory? Asking for a friend. I mean, I could throw anything at him, really. I just wanted to test whether I could throw stuff over fences, but... Oh, hello, moth. I'm about to get a visitor. It's only very small, though. Doesn't quite... I think it's also back to front. Or is it? Can never tell. Maybe it's not. I can never tell till I actually put a bow in it. But I know that my complaint about bow racks is often that they're too wide. They take up more space than I want them to take front to back. So maybe it is going to be a good thing to push it into a thing, although apparently that is actually as far as it will go. Is it going to stick out too much for me? Found Myra's pickaxe on a mob she fought. So they do sometimes end up in inventory. Wow. That's exciting. the most shitty game of hide and seek ever, right? If you were running like a game of hide and seek, being like, I've hidden this item somewhere around this deed. First person who can find it, I'll give you a Black Legion flag. And you have to go hunting all day to find, only to find the lightest, like, lobbed whatever the item was at a creature until it landed in its inventory. Nobody would ever find it, ever. You tossed your supreme pick at a health score. Wow. I didn't even know they had pockets. I dread to think where that ended up. So, how are we doing? I feel like we need some more stuff in this place, but it's not too pressing. It's not the end of the world. It just needs a little bit more something. Maybe, I tell you what, instead of that there, how about, can I fit my wine barrel racks in there, do you reckon? Or are they also going to be too big? Yeah, I bet it was a lot of log reading, a lot of F searches on logs. Still feel like I've got that the wrong way around, you know. I feel no, it must be the right way around. What did we say? Am I carrying it still? Yes, I am. Can we fit a wine barrel rack comfortably into a? Oh, not quite, but. Is it going to bug me? I mean, it is quite neat having it tucked in there. And I think it's, yeah, like it's not poking out the back or anything. I think I can accept it cutting into the sides. Maybe, probably. You can hear me, Calvert. You can hear me what? Are you somewhere I can throw things at you for science yet? No. I can hear you. You must still be over by your brazier pillars. So we've got seating. I could also stick some stools around the sides, but because of the way I've decorated, actually, I kind of probably don't want to. And it feels like, although having stools, well, like when I had a cupboard here giving this like little shelf bit, you can sit up at a cupboard just fine. I think it would be weird. Let's just find out, shall we? I think it would be weird to be sitting up at a bookshelf. Is that going to be the right way around? Yeah, see, like it feels just a bit too high to have them there. And it's not like all the seat heights are the same as well, so it's not just that the stool is low. I don't know if it would look less weird to have a proper chair there, but I'm not convinced. How far apart? Oh, I didn't put that one the right way around though. So it's just, is that the right way around? Yes. Let's just turn that one around as well. That'll do. I still need something for this corner. Maybe it needs a bat or something. I've got a large pottery amphora around the other side. Maybe I can just balance it with a little one there. Or maybe that's where my dog bowl or my pet basket should go, actually. I also feel like I kind of need something for this corner, but I don't know what. Problem for another day. And something's got to go with the alchemy. You know those benches that I yeeted merrily off that I now can't bring back up because you can't pick them up in your inventory? I could have done with just seeing whether I could fit one of those alongside it, but I think they'd stick out to about here. So I think they're probably not good. Do you want a pet dog? We can get a pet dog. But because it's a pub, I felt like I was going to use one of those Easter baskets, not the picnic basket like ones. I mean like the egg baskets. I was going to use one of those empty and just stick a pet bowl down next to it so that there was a, place for your dog. But I foolishly failed to actually bring one of those over. I could go fetch one. It needs a pub pet. Trouble with dogs is you've got to feed them all the bloody time. And I think the only way I could get it up here is by taunting it, making it teleport itself up. then taming it. But I'm not convinced it would stay up here because the teleporting up onto the upper floor is a glitch. I think it would be forever falling through the floor. I hate to tell you this, but the bunny backpack. No. Oh, you see, as a dog toy. I thought you were saying like as a toy dog. I was like, what? So bunny's nothing like a dog, Calvert. Put it in a creature cage and haul it up. I mean, I can't haul anything up at the moment, but it would be possible to haul something up. So you're not wrong. I've never tried hauling a creature cage, but maybe you can. That would be a way to do it. Don't think you can drag wagons, so you couldn't just put it in a wagon and drag it up. But if you could get it to teleport up in the way that those mobs are teleporting up, the question is whether you can get it. It teleports up the stairs, but I think those mobs, when they were teleporting up, as soon as I moved them onto one of these, they dropped back through because they don't actually belong up here, and I think it would be super glitchy to try and get a dog up here that way. I don't know. It can just be an absent dog. We can just have a thing round. I'm not building a ramp just to try and get a pub dog up here. No, too far. Maybe what we could have here is a little table and chairs. Let's have a look-see. I've pre-made some different kinds of tables and chairs and things, I think, because we want something that's quite small. I did look at round marble tables, but A, they look a little bit too posh and bright, but also they're still really quite big when you're only dealing with one tile width space. So I think what we want to do is high chairs, which are the nice looking, like the wooden ones that have got like a filigree back. I think high chairs and a tripod table might do it, but we are going to be doing a bit of a gamble again with wood types. So I might need to just take a few up and see. Right, high chairs. And come on, why can't I? There we go, tripod tables. What do these need to finish? Those need planks, those need shafts. So. Oh, I forget, I can also use barrels as decoration, and actually maybe that's what I do in that corner where I was like, this corner needs something. Because I've got... why are all these locked? I tell you what, guys, because I'm back on my new laptop and I've had to obviously reinstall a bunch of stuff, including OBS. I'm slightly anxious that like all of my OBS settings reset, and I think I got them all, but at least my worm settings I could port across. Some of my OBS ones I could, but like for example the last stream that I did where I was doing it on my old laptop with a fresh install of OBS, I streamed it, but it didn't auto record it because that's a setting you have to turn on, so I had to go download it from Twitch to stick it on YouTube. Did not make that mistake this time. But there's always a possibility that there's a setting that I haven't changed or something and this file size comes out huge. And so on the plus side, we haven't blue screened yet, so Calvert! I could go off you. It's not like he's even here. He's not announcing his presence so I can lob shit at him. He's still all the way over there, fucking farting in my direction. I can hear you, you shit. I don't want to live with you anymore. I've changed my mind. Tell you what, let's take a checkerboard up as well if we're going to put a table down. Coffers. What was that? Hi, Jake. I just saw this thing moving and I was like, is that a Hell Scorpius moving at speed? No, it's just Jake. Hi, Jake. Jake, if you come over here so I can throw plates at you. Where was I? What was I doing? Large barrel. That's what I was looking for. Knew there was something. You got Calvert in. Oh, you got Calvert in trouble. Was that you? Did you just fart in my local, Jake? You sucked. Sorry, Calvert. If it wasn't you. Trouble is, now I'll never know which of you it was. It could have been both of you. You know what? I wouldn't put it fucking past you. Calvert just farts in local and then Jake responds from the other side. Outrageous. Stop it! Oh my god! You're awful, the lot of you. Right, we need a plank for that one. What did we say we needed here? Shafts and planks, right? So, let's have a look-see. I am calm. I am not breathing in near either of these boys. Definitely came from Ruffles' deed. Fibs and lies. Let's have some oakwood ones and some oleander. My out of oleander shafts. Oh dear. Uh-oh. And there's that one which I already chopped a bit off. That's no good. Have I still got oleander logs left? Is this all about to go horribly wrong? You're not stealth, just farting in the distance. She's not even in my local. You dropped into the tree. It is fun, right? I know Ruffle and I did a few rounds of it the other day and then we went and did the elevator. It is good fun. Everybody should come and drop through the tree. Oh, crap. Wait. No, we've got one log left. We're all right. Have I got oleander planks left or is that also about to... Oh my god! Okay, Calvert, that's got to be you. Now trying to get Jake in trouble. You're all as bad as each other. What was I doing? You've thrown me off again. I was looking to see if I'm about to run out of oleander planks before I turn all of these into shafts. No, I'm doing okay. Now I've just got Jake munching in my ear. Should have done this in the crafting window. Never mind. Thanks, Jake. Work in progress, but good fun.
My grasshopper brain hopped again. What was I saying?
You why what, Calvert? You what why? Was I accusing you of something that you didn't do again? I mean, we do have somebody else in local. I don't know who this person is. Somebody keeps farting in my local, and there's now 3 of you in it, right? There's you, there's Jake. Jake came farting, and I blamed it on you. But Jake was also standing next to me just now for some of those farts, and it wasn't showing up in my event. So... Crumpy's not on at the moment. You stole her ult for some bridge building. I see. Wait, so are we saying that Arito's you as well, Jake? Is that who's farting in my local, where I keep blaming you and Calvert? No. Stinky boys! Who'd have them? Right, so a couple more of these. And then I'm going to stop getting distracted by all the farting people in my presence. Right, that goes back. That goes back. Then I just need some planks. God. It's getting late. I'm clearly flagging. Oakwood. What the fuck was I even doing? Table and chairs. Yes.
Goblin glee.
Yes. Mm. Carrying way too much crap in my inventory. Right. Oh, maybe I could have a pub chicken. That could be a thing, right? Let's start with barrel for that corner. Oh, that's a weird unfinished model that I've clearly never seen before. Don't like that. I mean, I probably have seen it, but only ever like really up close. That's really weird. No, don't like it. Right, we're going to try for oleander wood. It might go horribly wrong. Might be a washout. But let's hope not. Because I haven't been to a rift in a while and I'm running short of oleander wood. It's fine! Yay! So that's kind of a match for the cupboards. It's good, we like that. It's a tonal match for the larder, but it's obviously darker. So let's just tuck that neatly in the corner. Magic. Then I was talking table and chairs, wasn't I? So let's try for oleander wood again. One of these is not going to pay off.
Victory!
Victory! But maybe we'll be lucky. That's purple dark, like the bench, isn't it? Even possibly slightly reddish. I think that's going to be a match for the bench. It's not even a match for the bench. Fuck, look at that. It's not a match for the bench. It is not a match for the cupboards. Might be a match for the bookshelves, though. Yeah, it's a closer match for the bookshelves. Let's see how it does relative to some chairs, though. And I can make another one if needed. So let's try one of these and one of these. Is it a match for the chairs? Oh my god. Oh my god. Is it? It's a match for the chairs! Yes! Okay, there you go. High chairs, tripod tables, should be a match in woods. If they're a match in this wood, hopefully they'll be a match in all woods. There you go, that's useful to know. Which is good, because I am swiftly running out of planks. That's a tripod table, I don't want that, I want another chair. Because I'm swiftly running out of oleander wood planks, and I would have hated to have wasted one. It's only 59% chance, so let's just give it 3 attempts in case I cock it up. Ranting about colour matching wood colours and brown shades, the most difficult to make. Right in game. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's my bugbear. That's the hill I'm going to die on. I care not. I think we actually want these just a little bit further out. Now, I'm probably about to discover that a checkerboard won't fit on a tripod table. I know they're really funny about what they will and won't fit on. That's way too far. Let's try that again. Like... Oh, I should have rotated the table first, shouldn't I? Because the legs aren't... There we go. Whoa! Hello. Give him a tickle. There he goes. I see you've got your horn, although it's in a less suspect place this time. Also, that's for the farts that you did do. Have you come for the booze? Oh, that's frustrating. I've turned it all the way around and now it's spiky towards people. That's no good. There must be... There must be one way I can rotate this where it's flat towards the chairs and the feet don't look ridiculous. It's just gonna have to be that way, isn't it? So can we fit a checkerboard on a table, on a tripod table, or is it going to be a no? Let's see. No. I mean, yes, it will physically fit, but it's actually too big for the tabletop. Damn it. Those are going to have to go on coffers, clearly. Well, I guess that's one way that we got a pub dog. You live here now, Calvert. This is your new home. Also, I really, really like, I don't know if you can see it, I really, really like that you've got just the feathers from your hat poking out like you're wearing a little kind of like a fascinator. That's dead cute. Tell you what I am going to do instead, though, since the checkerboard was way too big, let's have fancy teapot and some cups on here. That looks nice. Like this. No, don't like it. Like this. Kind of want to paint them too. I feel like that red's going to be just a bit too red. Where are my other ones? Woof. That's going to be too red, she says, and then opens up an even redder red. Oh, here we go. We've got a darker one here, that'll do. Outrageous. Fuck it, how about blue? No. No. Let's set that to... How much did it say we need? 66. So we're also going to need some for the cups. So let's pop that in there, and then if I just shuffle that out somewhere temporarily, set that to 50. Let's just try for like a darker purple. That'll do. Not much darker, but at least it'll be slightly different to the ones up top on the shelves. Didn't mean to open that. Okay. Paint it. Paint it. Now you need to pee. Well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Ooh, that's quite nice, actually. It's almost like a burgundy. Unfortunately, it now means that it's completely lost on the dock table. And the baking stone is definitely too big to rescue that. Wonder if a wooden plate would do, though. Is that also going to be too big for the cups? Yeah. What do you mean there's no room? I like that you can fit a fucking baking stone on there, but apparently you can't fit a wooden plate. I'm going to need to recolour those at some point, but for now they'll do. Whatevs. I still need something to go here, but I don't think it's anything I'm going to come up with today because I could feel myself tiring. Although, actually, a coffer might go quite nice. Oh, I could just stick a coffer in there. But then there's going to be a triangular gap down here, and I don't much like that. I think that might be a problem for another Claire. We've mostly got this floor done. It's Jimmy Dond, and why are they farting on my stream? God, I can't win. Right, that seems like a good time to wrap it up, folks. You know what? It's I'm out of practice. I know it's only just gone midnight here, but I am overwarm and exhausted. I know it was not you. You're let off the hook this time, Calvert. I like also how the mask is just peeping out the bottom of your mouth. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up the stream there. There's clearly some more little bits of deco tat to do here, but I can do that and show you guys at another time. Haven't done anything on the upper floor where I was going to do some slightly more fine furnishings. I might explore with some rugs and things in here as well. It's in your swimming pool. We should be nice and cool down in the mine, right? But yes, I'm going to leave it there. I didn't go and get my pet basket, but never mind. That'll be all right. So it was you. Oh God, don't you whip whapper at me, Calvert. It's all going. You're teaching her how not to drown. Teach me. I still can't make the bloody last gasp thing work. Also, my voice is about to go. I can tell I'm about to have a coughing fit. So definitely time to stop. So, really nice to see you guys again. I've been missing streaming because it had been a couple of weeks. Fingers crossed, my laptop is actually fixed. We'll find out over the coming days. It was nice to hang out with you guys for a little bit. Do a little bit of decorating stuff here. I have now worn myself out thoroughly, so I'm going to wrap up the stream and leave it there with my new pub dog. So somewhere here, although I kind of feel like he doesn't deserve it now after some of that farting, cool down today is Sanford and Sons market, which is Jake Rivers's market. Really, really short hop from the portal at ESET. We need more markets on Exodus because I'm going to be doing quite a lot of streams here now, and I've only got these 2 ones to advertise. Good hanging out with you guys. Take care. I will see some of you around, and hopefully I will be back. All Sir Jakes, says Jimmy. Hopefully I will be back next Saturday and back into my usual streaming schedule, all being well, now that everything is, I am sure, fixed and there'll be no more blue screening ever. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend. And I will talk to you guys soon.